I'm so excited to talk about Amber Heard and Johnny Depp today. We're going to dissect this 2 hour conversation. Uh, we're going to learn so much from it. Whew, I'm so excited to do this. My name is Kevin. I am a licensed relationship and sex therapist. I am a MSW, RSW, a licensed psychotherapist. I have trained to understand relationship dynamics, body language, voice tonalities, to be unbiased. And this is one of those rare opportunities where we can hear a couple talking to each other for a long time. We can not only identify the psychological blueprints of each, we can look at the communication barriers, the communication strategies, we can look at how the conversation evolves, we can look at patterns that we can identify that go way beyond this conversation, including communication patterns. We can learn so much from this. So come and join me for this ride. It was going to be a little long. I hope you have YouTube Premium. Spend like 10, 15 bucks a month. Best purchase ever. You can off your screen. You can play this in the background. I'm not sponsored by YouTube. It's just a great way to absorb content like this. Now, without further ado, here's Johnny.
Not alone. You gotta change how you do things. And I want to trust you, and I feel like all the trust is gone. All the fucking trust is gone in the relationship because you keep splitting. We fight together, but you're the only one who splits, and I want that back. But you
there's no trust. There's nothing.
Then maybe there's nothing to talk about. But I did come over here with enough love in my heart and sincerity.
Thank you.
To say to you that all the things I said, which now I feel like, but I meant them. I fucking meant them. Even though you fucking split, didn't come home. I still did that. I've showed myself. I've proven myself. I've fought for you. I've showed up.
I'm not going to be in a physical fucking altercation with you.
Then.
Okay, so first of all, what's happening? Let's leave all the physical alteration stuff for a second later. So you can hear it in Amber's voice. She is sincere. She is speaking low. She is giving facts of how she views the situation of her coming and fighting for their relationship, for fighting for her love. She's complaining that Johnny always splits. So one thing that Johnny did do, which was great, is he thanked her. So in his mind, he's very, very concerned about the violence. He's you can tell he's with his voice, he's getting ready to start that conversation. And Johnny is an introvert, which I think I'm giving away too much, but I think you can kind of tell he's a bit of an introvert, and you'll see that more as we go on. And he's thanking Amber for doing that, for coming and for talking with him. So that is very, very good. So he's not letting the other topic of the violence overshadow giving her validation for fighting that relationship. And now we're going to get to the altercation.
Don't.
You fucking hit me last night. You fucking...
What about all the other times you split? Come on, you cannot act like that's about that. It's not.
When on a plane, I can't split.
No, and you hit back. So don't act like you don't fucking participate.
I pushed you.
I'm not going to get into the details of that fight. You and I both know that you split when there is no physical violence.
So Johnny's saying, look, there's a physical alteration. I'm not going to be with you when that's happening. That's why I split. Right? Okay. Amber is saying that he also split when there's no physical altercation, and I'm not even going to talk about that event. And she's also saying, Johnny, you pushed me. Right? So we don't know all the facts and all of that yet. Honestly, the facts don't matter. It's how your psychology is and how your partner's psychology is. So what Amber's doing is she's saying, I'm not even going to talk about that. She is denying Johnny from talking about the main thing that he wants to talk about. And you can see how that, I'm sure that's just going to spiral. Both partners' voice has to be heard, even if you completely disagree with what they have to say, even if you feel like you've already exhausted this subject. Right? So that's wrong on Amber.
and that you do it like at the very beginning of fights these days. And if you split and you go into a different room and you don't actually leave that house, it does nothing but perpetuate the fight. And you don't actually do it respectfully. You don't do it in a way that actually means we won't fight. It always makes more fights. It always makes them longer. It never, ever makes you calmer. You never come out going, I want to talk, or I'm okay, or it's going to be okay. And I am I'm sick and tired 100% of being the only one that goes and fights for it. You know what that does? It demoralizes the half of this relationship that is me. It demeans me. Demoralizes me.
Really?
Yes, really. Really, when you split on me, how do you feel when I leave you?
When I split, when I go into the other room, you said.
You leave you get another room, you get a flight, things like that. And you asked me not to in Australia, and ever since
no, how many? I
don't know, I have to count them up.
No, because I haven't left you in the house maybe twice. Last night and another time.
No, you've done it before. I've come here before. I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah, you've come here before. Last time and another time, and then last night.
You've done this several times, and getting me a room. Getting another room in a hotel is just the same thing.
When did I get another room in a hotel?
You text Steven or Nathan in Toronto to get you another room. It's chronic. It happens all the time. And if you do it to go into another room, you do it and you get dressed.
You were fucking screaming at me.
This is why a couple needs a therapist with them, because what's going to end up happening is, I can already tell, they're going to have a fight about the fight. They're going to get sidetracked by all the little details of all these other scenarios, and they're not going to focus on the theme here. So Amber, so far, she is trying to focus on the theme, which is Johnny always splitting. Now Johnny's trying to get into the details of it. Maybe he feels like if he's doing it when it's in the same house, it's okay. He seems a bit surprised that perpetuates the situation. Amber is advocating for herself and saying that she's the one who always needs to come to him, including to wherever they are right now. And she's just arguing a case about why that doesn't, like, how that demoralizes her. So it's a bit interesting to hear Johnny surprised by that. But I bet the reason he is surprised by that is because she is violent at times, or he believes she's violent at times. So she may be making a good point, but she's not letting Johnny to speak about the main thing he wants to speak about, which is the physical violence. And then when he says that, she'll say, oh, but I'm not talking about the times when there are physical violence. I'm talking about the chronic issue. So already they're on different pages talking about different sides of the issue. So as a therapist, I would have certain talking points. Right? So one issue at a time. Sometimes, yes, issues will be intertwined. Of course, there will overlap, etc. But at the beginning, first of all, there should be an agenda for this conversation. So they really, really need a therapist.
I'm not going to validate my actions last night. I feel very bad.
No, I'm talking in Toronto.
I did not start screaming until you had fucking said all the shit. You poke an animal enough, it is eventually, it doesn't matter how friendly it is or how cool.
True. Well, it's the same for me. It's the same for me.
And you kicked and kicked and kicked so bad. I have not done this to you. I have not said these things to you. I have not started the fight by saying I'm going to get another room. And I'm not going to sit here and fight about fucking Toronto anymore. Guess what? I let it go. I'm not fucking talking about Toronto.
Send me the tapes.
I can whisper it. I can write it. Guess what? I'm not saying another fucking word about Toronto. I'm so sick and tired of fucking fighting about old fights. This is not about a fight. This is broad. This is a broad thing. And if I'm telling you every single time you get dressed and you fucking split the top of a fight, you never fucking try and work it out, you never fight for me, you never come to me, you never self-calm, you never self-soothe, you're never the one to throw the olive branch, I'm sick and tired of it, it needs to fucking change. And you can go, I can't meet those demands, I can't do it, or you can fucking promise me so I have a modicum of safety, I feel a modicum of respect, a little tiny sliver of fucking like, you are in this whether it is good or bad, whether it is good or bad, down and up, lows and highs, tough and easy. Not just when it's easy. I feel like you're a fucking vacation husband. You are so there when it's good. You're so there when it's easy. The second it gets hard, you question it. Last night, I'm just as guilty. I give you that. But I have been primed and conditioned. At this point, I thought I'd never get over Toronto. It hurt so bad. I got fucked over so bad, and I did not do anything like that. I didn't stoop to that level at all.
You got the tapes. Let me hear them.
Absolutely. I wish it had caught everything too.
Why don't you send me the fucking recordings? Just text them to me.
I don't know how else to say I will to you. Hasn't really been a kind of safe environment now, has it? So if I'm looking to stoke a fire, yeah, okay. I haven't because we have not been well. We have not been good. When I fucking move out, if I move out, then you'll have them and you can fucking relish them. You won't fucking like it, what you hear. Won't make you happy. But you'll hear what I'm telling you.
Okay, so whatever is happening with Toronto and the tapes, that doesn't really matter. What you should be paying attention to is the idea that they're being cryptic. They're not actually talking about what happened in Toronto in the context of their own relationship, right? That's a very bad sign. Voldemort, the name that should not be said. I feel like I'm butchering that. But the idea is, hey, remember that thing that happened at this point in this place? Yeah, in Toronto. In that place, at your mother's house, wherever the heck it is. They're not addressing to the deepness of that scenario. So, for example, right, instead of saying that, they may want to say, after our argument in Toronto, after the violence in Toronto, after you accused me of infidelity in Toronto, after you threw this thing against the wall, after you rented another room, them not actually addressing that directly is a very bad sign. And so at the beginning of that, Amber said, you know what? This is what happens. When you poke the bear enough times, they are going to be rowdy like me. And they are going to speak up like me. Now, that's very interesting because that can go both ways. That can go for someone who's innocent, straw that broke the camel's back. It's finally time to stand up for themselves. But it can also go for someone who's a bully and someone who feels that even the smallest thing or the reaction to them is a way of poking them, right? So some people can take a lot, and it does make sense. And then some people can take a little, but because they're so entitled and because they can't stand what they dish out, they can say the same sentence. So that sentence can be a bit misleading. And another thing that's happening here is Amber is raising her voice, right? She's getting upset. I'm sure Johnny does the same things. So right now, why is she upset? She's upset because Johnny wants to hear some kind of tapes, see some kind of tapes. It's going to portray Amber in a bad light somehow. And she's saying, oh, I'm not sending you the tapes because things haven't been going well. Something like that, So this would really, really depend on a therapist's perspective here. Because this is not a time to invite chaos and throw everything against the fan. There needs to be structure. There needs to be a systematic way to address the situations. As I said, there should be a menu everyone agrees upon, right? Like a little table of contents there. And the table of contents should definitely include one-on-one sessions. And so it may not be the best time to give that evidence or give those tapes up. First, they would need to be like, what's the goal here? What's the problems? Let's get our psychology straight so we can view this evidence with the right mindset. Because right now, they're both chaotic. They're both too upset. It's not going to help the situation. But holding it at ransom also isn't right, which again is why a therapist should be here.
We haven't really been good. It hasn't really been a safe environment now, has it? You act like you're fucking on something when I haven't, sent you this. Like, well, send them to me. Get this. It hasn't been good. It's been a little tough.
Well, it wasn't before Rio.
Was it tough?
I mean, it was only in the sense that you tried to keep me, you know.
It's been really tough.
And why did you come to Rio?
All I've been trying to do is be with you, spend time with you. You said you needed that. You said that it made a difference, but I wanted to work for you. You wanted me to travel with you.
That was the
You
time
said
you were
our
looking for
relationship would be
apartments?
different. That was after Toronto.
Yeah, that's when we came back here.
I know where
Toronto,
we were.
Boston, here.
I know where we were. We've been on the road basically since Australia, and I have been at your side. And I have not been filming you.
Well, we were on our honeymoon. I hope you were at my side.
I'm not talking about just a honeymoon. Now, am I? I'm talking about many months. And was it all the honeymoon? No. I have been at your side throughout it all. You said, why did you come to Rio? And I answered you. I would love for it to be better. I have no fucking consistency, no safety, no security. The relationship is something, is something you don't fight for, you don't stand up for, you always run from when it's tough. I'm telling you, I need more. We didn't say vows. You didn't make them exactly in the same, in that way, you know, but now is the fucking time. I need to know if you're going to be there. I want promises. I told you that at the beginning of this conversation. I need promises that you're going to fucking be there. I need promises that this is important to you. Not when it's easy, when it's hard too. This is something you'll fight for. That this is something that's sacred. That neither of us throw out every fight. I can't be the only one to hold the promises. I was in Toronto and it fucked me over. I can't be the only one. You can't be the only one. If I split on you, all those times that I thought about doing it, we would not be here. And I stayed, and it's tougher. You know, that's stronger. I'm stronger. It is easy to run. It is easy to run away from problems. It is easy to take that out.
Okay, got cut off there for a second. Let's hear that again.
Only one. You can't be the only one. If I split on you, all those times that I thought about doing it, we would not be here. And I stayed, and it's tougher. You know, that's stronger. I'm stronger. It is easy to run. It is easy to run away from problems. It is easy to take that out and say, well, that's the easiest. I mean, that's the best, safest. That's the safest way out. I'm not saying we should get in physical altercations. I never want to be in that. Never. But every time you don't.
Okay, you see that? So she's really emphasizing she never wants to be in physical altercations, right? There was a big pause there. Johnny could have answered, but he didn't. In fact, Johnny isn't using active listening skills at all. He is too quiet, and that's not going to help the situation. So look, it's fair if someone wants to say, I'm overwhelmed right now, I can't have this conversation right now, that's fine. So in that case, don't have that conversation. And Johnny has done that so many times. He can leave. This time he is choosing to stay. So if you're choosing to stay, then it means you are interested in having this conversation, which means you need to give audio cues to Amber. You need to let her know that, like, you know, for example, little, oh, yeah, something. None of that's happening, and that applies even if they are there in person and looking at each other. That really doesn't matter. So that's something missing from Johnny. Amber is authentically, a few seconds before this, hopefully it's recorded, she is basically showing her fear of abandonment. She is really, really, you know, hitting that hammering it in that she does not want John. Every time Johnny splits, whether going to another place in the house or going to another hotel room or going out with his friends, or probably applies to if he takes some kind of drug, if he takes drugs, kind of, you know, mentally leaving, how that is a huge, huge, huge trigger for her, and how she has to be the one that has to come and, let's say, come over and call him to start the conversations, and then again he'll split. So this is a serious issue of splitting. But the problem is Johnny can't even hear her, because Johnny's first priority of conversation was the whole altercation, the physical stuff. So she has sidetracked this so far, and she has a strong voice or personality. And by the way, so there's a myth going around that actors are these extroverts or something like that. A lot of actors extremely introverted. Robert De Niro is another example. It's very different to be a different character than it is to be yourself. All right, ourselves are much more abstract and ever changing. Okay, so lots of problems with the conversation so far. Let's continue.
Don't like what I say and you fucking run away will never work out anything. You can't run away every fight.
Johnny made another mistake. So he said, so she was saying how she's always with him. They're always traveling together. And then Johnny's saying, yeah, it's my honeymoon. You should be with me, right? In his own words. And then she's saying, it's not just the honeymoon. So Johnny, it's like he's looking for, and I'm sure it wasn't just a honeymoon, just by the tones of both of their voices. So it's kind of like he's looking for something small to take issue with. So normally people do this when the voice is not being heard in a relationship. They'll try to get little jabs in, and the jabs are not even productive.
You can't. It's easy. It's not brave. It's not strong. It's harder to say to somebody, I want to work this out. I want to face what I have. I want to face what you have. I want to work it out with you. You're not working it out. You're running away, and then you make me be the bigger person every single time and come to you and knock on the door and come to this house and say, hey, we're married. It's supposed to be sacred. Calm down.
I made you.
Yes, by default. If you're never the one to do it, one of us is, and I'm the one to do it every time. It means I'm the bigger person every time. It means I have to be the strong one. It means every time I have to fight for our relationship, and you get to be lazy. You get to be cowardly. I don't know
what are you here for? What do you need me for?
Once again, I am fighting for the relationship.
With a guy that you don't fucking trust or like? Why?
I did not say I didn't like you. I love you. You're my favorite person in the world.
I don't see how.
I remember what I said at the beginning. I'm sorry you feel like you can't imagine it. But I said this to you at the beginning of this conversation. I said, you're my favorite person in the whole world. If you weren't the most magnetic, shiny, beautiful, interesting, dynamic person I had ever met in my life, it would be so easy to walk away from this bratty thing that you do.
Untrustworthy.
Did you hear what I just said? I said I can't trust. That's not meaning you're untrustworthy. It means we've created a situation. And I'm telling you what you do to create it too. We've created a situation in which trust can't grow. It's like it's trampled every single time, and we need a marriage. That's why I sat down. Do you not remember me sitting down at the very beginning of this conversation and saying just that to you? Saying, I know you got married for security and for safety. So did I. We did not get married because it was something that we're doing, because it was something we could walk away. We wanted a foundation. No?
Yes, I wanted to make you my wife.
Yes, but you could just have me as your girlfriend if you didn't want the foundation. And you told me, and maybe you go back on it now. Fine, okay, cool. Lie about that. I don't know. You told me you wanted a foundation. You told me you wanted the security. You wanted the safety. You liked the foundation. At the beginning, you said, I really like having that. It feels safe. So don't argue with me when I say it now.
I'm not arguing with you.
Oh, yeah, but you had to pick it apart.
By saying because I loved you and you're my wife. I wanted you to be my wife. That's picking it apart.
No.
Then how did I pick it apart?
I don't want to do this. I don't want to fight about a fight. I want to fight about semantics.
How come when I come up with a point, you can't answer it? You don't want...
Okay. So, actually at the beginning, so Johnny is making the same mistake that Amber made earlier, which is... kind of not validating the other person. So this whole time, a lot of it, Amber has not been letting Johnny voice himself, and Johnny also has been a bit too timid, like so not even with the the little audible replies and references, evidence that he is listening. But when Amber is saying, this time she said it about 3 times, and she even went left a little list of why she loves Johnny, and Johnny disregarded that. And then she's like, did you hear what I said? So she said it at the beginning, she's saying it now, and it's being disregarded for a second time. And that is going to really affect the situation. Right? So that's not good. It gets a bit better later, but in this particular instance, Amber is being patient. That validation is very, very important. And the way that Amber is validating is correct when she says, I'm sorry that you feel that way. That's not what I meant. I'm not saying you're trustworthy. I'm saying we've created an untrustworthy situation. So far, Amber's making some great points, but we can't discount anything. Like, we haven't heard enough from Johnny to say that. And I only want you to think about it in the context of this particular conversation. So who are you? Are you Amber or are you Johnny?
Or suddenly you don't want to answer.
What am I not answering? Because I don't want us to fight about this new thing? No, I don't want to. I said you wanted the safety and security, and you stopped me, you interrupted me, and then you said, what? Because no, because I wanted to have you as my...
I didn't interrupt you. You asked me, right? You said, right?
I meant you interjected. I meant you said. You said. How about that? See, now, is this better? I answered you. I addressed what you're saying. Now, can we please not fight about that?
And I said, because I love you.
I said loved.
We're talking about this past tense. If I used loved, my apologies. It doesn't mean you love me now.
My whole point that you, I don't know, an issue with is that you love me. Yes, you married me though because you wanted some safety, some security, some stability, a foundation. Now, if you take issue with that, okay, take issue with it. But if you agree, then you agree. That's who you were when you married me.
Yes, but the only thing that's missing is with you. I wanted those things with you.
Yes.
And that's what I was trying to say.
There you go. So that's a crux of Johnny's point. Fantastic.
Me
Because I
too.
love you and I wanted to marry you for that, for our love, for the security, for the foundation, for... Yes, of course. But you left for you.
I'm sorry, I didn't. I mean, with you, of course.
Or with you, or whatever.
I mean that, of course. Of course I do. Of course I want that with you. It's why I'm married to you. But I need the safety, I need the security, I need the boundaries. And I think you... Would you not agree?
I need the same things.
So,
But when you start flipping out, and I can't get a word in, and it's you know, manic and angry, what the fuck, Amber?
I get angry. I'm human. This is the kind of situation where one gets angry.
Okay, but you can't provoke anger in me then. If I just
I can't control that. If I'm angry...
Just try. Let's both try. If there's anger, if there's something fucking really, really fucking poking us in the ass, let's try. Try not to fucking fight. Try to address it without jumping down each other's throats, because all that's going to do is build a mountain of fucking resentment, some species of fucking hatred within the love, and totally fucking mistrust, because you say you don't trust me. I get it, okay. I'm flake, I'm with this, I'm with that.
I didn't say as a person. I was speaking specifically about this. I don't trust the marriage. I don't trust you. I don't feel safe with it because you always fucking bail on it.
Well, then I don't know, you know.
I want the trust back. You can deflect all you want, say it's my fault, say how dare I get angry at you ever, whatever. I'm telling you.
As much as you don't like that shit in your marriage, I don't like the guff that you put on me in our marriage. And if it causes distrust in me, it causes distrust in me. Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know what.
And sometimes I don't. I don't want to fucking be there and go through the shit. I don't, man. I don't.
No.
I don't want to, because I don't want to fucking fight.
It doesn't have to be one. It's not like I'm saying, hey.
Okay, so one thing, rules of engagement, you can't be swearing like this. You can't. It's never helpful. If you're with me in a session, swear as much as you want. But when you're having this kind of argument with your partner, it never ends well. And you know, don't give me that. No, it's just how we express ourselves. It's more authentic. I would agree with that in every situation except when you're having an argument with your partner. Okay, because it can be weaponized so easily. It can turn to conflict so easily. And also, if you're both, there really needs to be rules of engagement. So let's say we have a little rule. So the little rule is no swearing in our arguments. So let's start there. So what does that do? Now you two are on the same page. You know that as soon as there's some swearing, okay, things are going off the handle, right? You need to keep that from happening, and it's much better for that to be the signal than for it to be a bigger signal of a bigger statement. Okay, I forgot the psychological term for this, but let's say you're in a subway, and in subway there's graffiti everywhere. Because there's so much graffiti, the violence is gonna go up a lot, a significant amount, because the graffiti is kind of showing that this is the environment, and this is acceptable in this type of environment. Now they've done this study a bunch of different times. All they do is clean all the graffiti. Crime goes down, and it's because it's the environmental cue. So in this example, the environmental cue should be swearing, right? So swearing is a way to keep them both on the same page. Okay, great, we're both not swearing. We're both being tame about this. And that's going to be a rope that makes it that much harder for there to be shouting, for there to be throwing, etc., etc. So think about not swearing may seem small, but it's very big. And yeah.
Hey, choose fight.
You just said I get mad, I'm gonna scream.
No, I didn't say that's always...
Amber keeps emphasizing that she did not call Johnny trustworthy. Okay? Good.
Okay, I said, yeah, I'm mad. It happens. It happens.
Yes, sir.
Johnny's comment of, can we just try? You and I both. Just try. That is so beautiful. That's well said. There doesn't need to be any more details than that. And by the way, in this last clip, they both agreed that there is a vicious cycle where Amber is talking over Johnny and Johnny can't get a word in, and so that informs this conversation. So Johnny might feel like, why should I even try? I'm not going to get a word in, and once I even pick up steam, I'm going to get totally derailed by her. So that could be true, for sure. And at the same time, he agreed to have this conversation, right? So we can't put, let's say, too much onus on the victim. Some people might say, I don't look at this as any kind of victim scenario at all. But then there should be rules at the beginning. So the therapist says, right? So there's many times where I'll say, okay, thank you. We're going to hear from the other partner. But they can do that themselves. They don't need me or another therapist. They can simply say, okay, I need to respond to this. Okay. And you please don't answer until I respond. Or they can have that agenda at the beginning, which is not some like advanced technique, right? It's like, okay, let's write down what we need to address. What are the real issues? Okay, let's go one by one. What's the easiest thing to talk about? Okay, let's start with that.
I know. It happens often.
The things that are wrong are repeating themselves, and they happen often. If you think I'm some fucking tyrant or bully, then don't fucking be with me. But don't sit here and insult me like I'm the fuck up because I have the audacity to get
saying that I'm the tyrant and the bully and at the same time the guy that runs away and
you run away every single fight.
Okay, so I mean, then what are you?
Then I'm not lying about it.
Then what are you doing with me?
I already answered that. I already we went through this conversation literally 5 minutes ago. I answered this already 5 minutes ago.
You just said to me that I shouldn't be with you.
No, I said if
That's
you.
what I feel.
No, I said if I'm some, harping bully, which is what you make me sound like. Like I'm like constantly on you, making you feel bad. That's because that's what I do. And then you ignore everything. You take me for granted. You're ignoring everything that I do for you. You make me sound terrible. You talk about me in a terrible way. You do not fight for me. And then you want to sit here and make me sound so terrible to be around.
Fight for you.
You don't. everything I've already explained.
No,
10 minutes before.
fight for you. I don't understand.
You never, ever do the work. Put in the work. If we're arguing about something, you don't ever try to get to the bottom of it, figure out, make the peace. You want to make it easy on you, so you split. You don't fight for me. You don't fight when there's a problem. You don't come to me. You don't make peace with me. You never extend an olive branch. You're never the bigger guy. You're never the one that's like, okay, I'm going to put my own feelings aside for a second and say, this is bigger than us. Let's stop fighting. You never are the one to come and knock on my door. You take me for granted.
It's not true. It's not true. I'm not the one who fucking throws fucking pots and...
Those are different. That's different.
Look at this. We're 19 minutes into their conversation, excluding everything that I said, and now the altercation thing is coming up again. It didn't need to take this long. Another tool they should have used is talk about their feelings. Feelings, not facts. So, for example, I feel this, I feel that, rather than you're this and you're that. Because then what happens? The other person gets defensive. And Amber did try to do that when she said that the situation has created distrust. It's not you. And that could have been done, that could have been used a lot more by both of them. There was another important point here. Bear with me, guys. Therapists get mental fatigue too. This is real time, no cuts. I gotta rewind that for a second. Actually, I'll remember. Let's keep watching.
Something else at me.
That's different. That's one does not negate the other. That's irrelevant. It's a complete non sequitur. Just because I've thrown pots and pans does not mean that you come and knock on the door. Just because there are vases does not mean that you come and knock on the door.
Really, I should just let you throw.
I'm not saying that. You're saying that. You're putting words in my mouth and then making non sequiturs.
Okay, I remember now. So they're both misunderstanding. They're both name calling each other, basically feeling like you're saying I'm the bully, you're saying I'm the bully, you're saying I'm the tyrant. No, you're saying I'm the tyrant. None of them have used these. This is something that they're interpreting it by themselves. No one has used these words. No one has labeled each other like this. But basically they're talking to each other and with a psychology as you're the bad one. You're the bad one. Right? Both of them are basically doing that. That's unproductive. Right? So before this happens, there should be a list of feelings. There should be an agenda. There needs to be understand that at the beginning when I work with clients like this, we talk about why they're here. Why are both of them here? Right? So Amber said, but Johnny didn't. And then it's hard for Johnny to hear because of all these other elements that are happening in the conversation, which they both have fault for. But all this like name calling, all this misunderstanding is completely not necessary, and it derails the whole conversation. And this is why a therapist needs to be here to conduct this, to mediate here. And mediate means we're focusing on the meat of the situations, which should be written down.
You a situation.
No, you're trying to justify how you don't or do come to the door.
No,
based
I'm
on whether
justifying.
It's irrelevant.
No, I'm justifying how you seem to think that there's this cowardice in me that runs away and I don't fight for you.
And you're justifying that by saying I throw pots and pans? Okay, cool. Let's talk about everything you do wrong.
I'm not the one who fucking did that. I didn't.
So that makes sense. That's clear. Yeah.
The only time.
That's so immature of Amber to be like, okay, let's talk about all the things that you did wrong. That's not what he's doing. Johnny is answering her, explaining and defending himself because he has been kind of called a coward. And he already feels like he's also been called a tyrant. So he's going to be a bit upset. Johnny needs to address that. And they're just saying that I need to go when you're throwing pots and pans because basically I want to check on you.
I ever threw anything at you was when you fucking threw the cans at me in Australia.
Why are you trying to justify who throws things Based on
Because
whether or
that-
not you come knocking on the door. I don't
Because
get
that
why
is a
one
fucking
informs the
irrational and violent fucking maneuver.
How does
So a
one
man would
inform
want
the
to
other?
get out of that area so that he doesn't get so fucking angry that he actually does pop the fucking wife.
How does one inform the other?
Oh, man. Go home and listen to the tape. Please. That's what they're for.
Yes. You listen to the fucking tape.
Oh, I'm gonna.
So will I.
Pregnant pauses. Good. This can be very healthy. Hope there's some breathing in going
I'm not
on.
gonna sit here and promise you I'll never get mad at you or that you'll never fuck up. I know you want to live in a world where everyone just says yes to you and doesn't question you or criticize you ever.
Don't insult me like that, please.
But that's not the case. That's not why you're with me. I am honest with you.
Good, because that was a direct insult to Johnny. And he stood up for himself.
I'm sorry. You don't want to be held accountable. I get it.
I'm not sure you're so honest with me.
Well, that's your...
Watching you live in front of Travis last night was really
That's your problem, and that's your whole thing that you've created.
That's my problem, but my problem is that you don't trust me.
No, I don't
What the
trust
fuck
you in
is
this.
going on in there, man?
I don't trust you in this, and I want the trust back.
You don't trust me in our marriage. Well, what is everything we're talking about? Our marriage.
Tell me if you want to stop talking.
You're saying you don't trust me
Just tell
personally, or you
tell
don't
me
trust
that
me in the marriage? What I don't understand, what's so different. Tell me the difference, please.
Good,
I
good.
think I have in the last few hours now.
No, I think you could probably explain it to me a little better. I'm slow.
You might keep being an asshole.
Ah, okay. So this Amber's again, she's being immature. Johnny is asking a very, very legitimate question. What's the difference between not having trust with me as a partner and as a person? And he's saying, I think you can explain better. And she's just calling him an asshole, right? Ridiculous.
Do I want to keep being an asshole?
Stop the attitude.
It's a redundant question.
Stop the attitude.
I should stop the attitude. Okay, sure, no problem.
Stop.
No problem.
So I'm not going to sit here and go over every fight we've had. I'm not going to refight this fight. You have something you're holding on to about Travis. Fucking go fuck. You know, go do it. Go run away together. I don't know what you're fucking holding on to, but you have created that. I have no part of that. I don't know what you're fucking latched onto in your brain, what stray hairs have fucking commingled and tangled in your brain to make you think you've really figured some sort of thing out. But this is not unusual for you. It's like almost every fight I could pretty much guarantee you find something that you can like manipulate.
Let's ask Travis tonight. If you
yes,
told
why don't we
him,
invite Travis into our fucked up, broken ass, 3 fucking wheeled truck of a marriage? Why don't we crash it straight into the wall? Because no one knows us better than fucking Travis.
you're just afraid that the truth will come out.
What truth?
That you lied.
What are you fucking talking about? I didn't fucking even have a fucking thing to lie about. What are you fucking talking about? Every fucking fight, there's a new thing that you've convinced yourself is a lie.
I said to you, Amber, tell Travis what you just did. Did you just fucking, did you punch me in the fucking jaw? Did you fucking kick? Did you? Did you? And you wouldn't say fucking, I don't know what you're talking about. It never fucking,
I see the
never
lie.
fucking happened.
I see the lie. You really should run with this. In fact, maybe you and Travis can like go and like, you know, do a tell-all about what an investigative
Stop
study.
with the attitude, right? Stop with the attitude.
Sorry.
You're getting all bunched up.
Sorry.
That's great. So actually, when she told Johnny to stop with the attitude, that was rude. However, when Johnny told her, she did accept it, and she can feel herself getting really upset, and she knows that's not the way to go. Uh, but this is still not even half the conversation yet. But so far, the intention is good. So she's there. She wants to fix this.
It's so fucking pointless, and you know it, to sit here and fight about fucking whatever you think happened with Trout. You just it wasn't a conversation.
Listen, I was not lying.
I'm not going.
You lied. You're an asshole.
You were fucking full of shit. What lie? When? What conversation did I have with Travis? A big investigative study you've done. I'm not sitting here and fighting with you about the fight that we had last night.
After you fucking got physically violent with me, I texted Travis. I said, "Come up here," because I didn't want anything to happen.
I mean,
Come to what? Save me?
No, go ahead. Continue. You. Travis to the rescue.
No, that was the last one. You can go. You go.
Okay, I'm gonna rewind that for a second.
You told me to do it. You told me to. You said, "Go do that."
I said, "No, tell him what just happened."
And I lied.
And that you punched me in the fucking thing, and you
figured
in the
it
face,
out.
and you said, "No, fuck it, I didn't. What the fuck are you talking about?" And I watched you lie, and then I
didn't punch you. By the way, I'm sorry that I didn't hit you across the face in a proper slap, but I was hitting you. It was not punching you, babe. You're not punched.
Don't tell me what it feels like to be punched.
No, even a lot of that's been around a long time. No. Yeah.
No, when you fucking have a closed fist.
You get punched. You got hit. I'm sorry I hit you like this, but I did not punch you. I did not fucking deck you. I fucking was hitting you. I don't know what the motion of my actual hand was, but you're fine. I did not hurt you. I did not punch you. I was hitting you.
How are your toes?
What am I supposed to do? Do this?
How are your toes?
I'm not sitting here bitching about it, am I? You are. That's the difference between me and you. You're a fucking baby.
Because you start physical fights?
You're such a baby! Grow the fuck up!
Because you start physical fights?
I did start a physical fight.
Yeah, you did, so I had to get the fuck out of there.
Yes, you did. So you did the right thing, the big thing. You know what? You are admirable. Every single time. What's your excuse? When there's not a physical fight, then what's the excuse there? You would still be admirable, right? Just by running away. And you can sit here and call me names, but you get called a name, and what do? That's the last insult. You're a baby. You're a hypocrite. You don't do anything that you actually do. You expect from people what you can't give them. If they do something, a taste of it to you, you fucking lose it. But yet you dish it out.
So if you remember at the beginning of the video, I talked about this, how there are some people who they can't take what they themselves dish out. I was talking about Amber, and right now Amber is talking about Johnny. One of the great things here is that Amber admits to hitting him, and she admits to starting a physical fight. Obviously, it's not good that that happened, but it is good that she's admitting it. And because she does that, she opens up Johnny's ears a lot more. Johnny thinks, okay, you're being reasonable now. Because there are some people, and I've seen this a bunch in couples, they're going to argue to the very end. They'll may even try to gaslight, but she's admitting it. So that's good, that's fair. She's also calling him names, which is obviously is not good, just calling him a baby. So that could come from both directions. It seems to me that she is very sick and tired of trying to chase Johnny. And now that this thing has happened, which she has already apologized for, and she's not still getting the answer that she needs about actually talking about the abandonment and the splitting in non-violent scenarios, so she is going to be very, very upset, right? So that's something to empathize with and to understand. But again, these are two separate scenarios of the splitting and the violence and the build-up. And they're overlapping too much. I'll tell you what I would do a bit later.
are you doing with this?
I'm giving you a Xanax in case you need it.
Oh, thank you.
Seems like it's well.
Yeah, it probably has.
I love you, and I've told you many times in this conversation how much I do love you. And I've fought for this marriage, and fought for you. And you don't do the same. Not ever. I'm married to you. For the foundation. So we can start out.
She gives him a Xanax, which is good. You know, she's supporting her partner in the relationship, and she is also admitting how stressful it is for him. And then she's saying, it was a bit low, I'm not sure if you heard it. She's saying, I love you, and I've told you a million times why I love you. And we got in this relationship, or got in this marriage to start a foundation. And she needs more security for that foundation.
Not so that it could be throw around, run away. But I haven't even been able to have like a fight with you beyond in any real talking kind of speaking context in so long, because anytime anything goes wrong, you speak.
The video cut off again, but basically Amber is telling Johnny, I told you how a million times how much I love you. We got in this marriage to build a foundation, and the trust is gone. I don't feel like I can trust you because you're always leaving, and I want that. And she's speaking in a very low, in an empathetic way with Johnny. And the problem is here, both these people are just trying to argue their points. Neither one is kind of giving way or compromising. So I take that back, right? So Amber is doing that. She is trying to compromise a lot. The thing is, it's hard to see that because she goes so high and then she comes back, whereas Johnny is a bit more even keel. But she has self-awareness to realize when she's going too far, and then comes and tries to fix that. Another amazing point I forgot, but I'll remember.
I'm really not for worse. You can't say the same about me. I fight even when I feel terrible. I show up. I pursue. I give you space. I've done everything to really show how committed I am. You know I am. I'm here for God's sake.
And I haven't.
No, not when it's tough. Not when it's hard. Not when it's worse. This is the grandest gesture you've shown me in a long time. Is by sitting in one place and actually facing some of the stuff we need to talk about. This is the biggest gesture you've given me in a very long time. It means a lot, of course, but it should be much.
Wow. Okay, so if this is how bad the relationship is, she's saying that this conversation is the grandest gesture you've given. It means so much to me that you're able to sit down and have a conversation with me. And they're only 3 hours in. This actually goes to 2 hours. I hope you're watching this video on like 2 times the speed. First of all. So that's very telling. Right? So that's either telling in the way that Amber never makes it easy to have these conversations, so Johnny's always leaving, or it's just that vicious cycle that because he's always leaving, he makes Amber worse. Like, this would never happen if I have a couple. There's going to be structure to it. There's going to be a commitment for both of them to attend the sessions. I might do one-on-one sessions with each, so we know what's off limits. or how they prefer to go in terms of the order of events. These people aren't able to have long conversations at all, ever. And I bet one reason, too, is because there's no structure and it's too all over the place. And the other rule wouldn't just be no swearing, it'd be no name calling.
There's things that I need to be different. I want to make you happy as a man. No, I can change certain things that are hurting you. But I know I can't blame myself entirely for going straight to the fucking finish line, the first sign of stress yesterday. Because of how it's been lately. Since Australia. And I've been on the road with you. I haven't been working. I don't know what else I could fucking do.
Since Australia, we've been on our honeymoon and we had a great time, other than the fact that we had a fight on the train, which was physical. But then we had a fight in San Francisco. But I thought everything else was great. There's so many people.
So Amber is directly providing evidence. She's not taking these acting gigs post the honeymoon. She's there with Johnny traveling. That's meaningful. And then Johnny is making this extremely important point, which there was a physical fight on the train.
Pondering this since Australia.
No, the splitting.
Me splitting.
Like the lack of, I even said this in Australia. So I feel like it was so good for so long to talk about things. Remember we were allowed to have fights then. Remember we allowed ourselves to say, hey, you did this, or you took... Remember we would even have a little argument and it was okay. It was an argument. I don't know what the fuck has changed. I can't figure it out. And I don't mean to criticize anything that you do, but it's so chronic with you, the changes and personality. It's like sometimes you get these clear months and you're this different person and it's wonderful, you're this, and then sometimes I'm like struggling to stay connected with you, struggling to have 5 minutes with you, struggling to connect with you, struggling to have my friendship with you, and I can't fight with you. It's like, but they're so chronic that I have to go, what the fuck has changed? What thing has changed? Do you not remember how different? You were so different. You allowed me to...
I allowed you to what?
And you were so present, and we were allowed to fight. We were not even fight, we had arguments. You weren't like this, mood swings, up, down, like really aggressive and really cool and calm. I mean, you've given me this time here on the couch, and it's amazing that we can actually talk. But I never feel that safe. I constantly feel like you're about to fucking split. I don't want to feel like that. You make me feel meaningless.
You threw me out of the bedroom.
Yeah, why wouldn't I if I know that you're about to split? I mean, that's what I'm saying. You always
about
split.
to split.
You always split. So that's... Why wouldn't... I mean, I do blame myself for my actions.
I was laying in bed watching television.
Okay, this happens a lot. Right. So first of all, Amber is... what happened a lot is... you wonder what happened to my partner. When we first met, you weren't like this. And that's why it's really important that when there are transitions in a relationship or relationship escalators, let's say, for example, friends with benefits, partner, moving in with your partner, marriage to your partner, etc., that every step of the way there should be a conversation on what that means and what the new expectations are with that label. For example, you're going to want something different from someone you're married to than to someone that you're casually dating. Right? But what does that actually mean? Most people don't take the time to think about that and write it down. And it's very important that you do that so everyone's on the same page. And if your partner hasn't, encourage them to do that. And then what's happening with Amber, which is sad, and I really want to emphasize, I'm not empathizing, I'm not trying to have a bias towards Amber. This conversation might go the complete opposite direction later, but in real time, one thing at a time, it is sad that she's feeling that Johnny always leaves, always splits, and she might as well kick him out, but she's going to leave that anyways. And that's a real problem. and creating those expectations and a lifestyle where that can happen, right? It's like, what's happening next? You're going to live in separate bedrooms. I mean, sleep in separate bedrooms. That is okay for some scenarios, but in a scenario like this, it does not have to be the case.
Matt.
I
was laying in bed watching television.
I fucked up last night. I'm not going to defend myself, but I also can't blame me going to the finish line when that's always where you drive it. You know.
But you're saying you thought you were sure I was going to split.
Always. I mean, that's just.
Why would I split if I'm laying in the bed with you watching television?
Anytime I tell you that I'm unhappy with anything, and it's typically the same thing. Anytime my voice is complaint, I'm not allowed to have a complaint. I'm not allowed to think anymore. So I do this 1,000 times. 1,000 times I've said this to you in calm and in fights. Really, I don't feel like I'm allowed to just have a complaint, and you aren't allowing me the luxury of us just being normal human couples. Like, as soon as you get mad, you take off on the train. Remember, I even asked you, is it about Adderall? Are you doing too much? I know it makes one edgy. It makes one, like, temperamental. Could it be too much? Like, what is it? The alcohol doesn't seem like it unless it's like in Toronto where it just became that. But in general, it hasn't been a problem so much. So I don't know what changed. I mean, I'm sure it's something, because it's not chemical, it's strong. It's one day you were different.
It's the same.
And it hasn't been bad.
It's the same changes that are happening in you. It's exactly the same.
Another key skill that both of them are lacking is paraphrasing. So, for example, Johnny could have said right there, okay, so Amber, if I understand you correctly, you're saying that I have changed, that I'm always splitting, that you might as well kick me out because I'm going to split anyways, and you care for me, and you're saying that it might be the drugs affecting us, right? And then she would say, yes, that is what I'm saying. Yes, I feel heard. And that is going to prevent her from over talking and taking over the conversation. Just that little paraphrasing. Something that both of them should be doing. It's so simple, extremely valuable.
Well,
Anything that shows the
that is the case.
I have always allowed you to fuck up and be a human. I've always been able to have a communication with you. The difference is you make it so we cannot even communicate at all if it's anything negative. You go, you take off on a train, you don't get off. You don't calm down. You don't come back around. You don't honor when you say, I just want a few minutes or I want a little time, but I'll be back. You don't assuage the anxiety and the stress that gives me and makes things worse with me by saying, hey, we will. Remember, people was like, you have to say, I will be back in this amount of time, more or less, and then actually honor it. You have to come back. So I said, oh my God, if he could do that, that would be great. Yes. And you never do it. You know, you don't ever honor that. You leave me with way more anxiety, stress, anger, and resentment.
So that's something that therapists said, 100% agree. So Johnny, for example, should be saying, there could even be a rule saying every time I'm upset, I'm going to go, but I'll be back within 2 hours. Or, hey, I'll text you within 2 hours. There needs to be something. Because if you're too mad in the moment, you don't know. But there needs to be an expectation that's honored. And Amber deserves that. Anyone in that situation deserves that. Johnny deserves that if Amber is the one splitting when angry.
But in Australia, for a few months, you were so...
So for you, it makes a difference. I wasn't being attacked.
I'm mad. I have not attacked you any different. I haven't changed. I have not attacked you any different. I never attacked you. I never attacked you. Just because I have a complaint with something you did is not an attack.
It becomes verbally insulting. It becomes all kinds of shit. It becomes like right at the get-go, yeah.
See, Amber thinks that her criticizing and complaining is the problem, but it's actually her calling him names.
The problem, if you see any criticism as a verbal assault, of course we have this problem. We're going to have it next time you do. God forbid I have a problem with something you do. We're going to be in this situation. Are you ready for it?
Say it nice, man.
What if I'm hurt? Am I not allowed to be hurt and be human? That's the thing. You're not allowing me to be human then. You take my humanity from me. You're telling me I'm not allowed to feel things and I'm not allowed to react because to protect you.
last night happened because I was at Isaac's for too long. Next door.
It happened because we could not
And for
communicate.
what? For what? What did we gain from this fight? From me just, the horrible fucking act of me being over at Isaac's for just too long
I did
for
not
you.
cause this because you were at Isaac's. You lie to yourself. Go ahead. You're just lying
Then
to
why
yourself.
were you upset last night?
This did not happen because of Isaac's. This happened because we're fighting. This is not about Isaac's. We actually haven't really even talked about that. We spent 2 seconds on it because it's not about that. It's bigger than that. The point is, I voiced a complaint. It could be anything. It could say, baby, you did something to hurt me. Which you did, and you admitted.
Why didn't you say that?
You admitted that you would feel that way too, and
Yes.
you said sorry for it. That would have been great, but I could not feel safe saying that to you because I knew that your reaction would very likely be a defensive explosion and an attack and freak out and get up and walk away and all this stuff. So I wanted to avoid it. So I took an Ambien to try and go to sleep without even having to speak to you about it because I was really hurt. That you fucking left me stranded. You didn't think about me. You didn't text me. All the things that you apologized for. You already apologized for it. Can you do me one small favor and not take it back?
I'm taking it back.
So that's good. That's fair of her, right? Can you do me a small favor and not take it back? I can tell she's really, really affected by some kind of abandonment that happened in her early life. So there's something called attachment styles. So she has an insecure, anxious attachment style, which means that she grew up in an environment where she kind of never knew what was going to happen, who she could rely on, if she would be safe. So she needs a lot of reassurance. And that small thing is so telling, which, can you do me a favor and not take it back? That, it touches my heart. So you know that she's been through something serious.
It's not defending things. You already apologized for it. It meant a lot to me. Do me one favor today. Don't take that back.
He already said
What did I just say?
he doesn't take that back.
This isn't about Isaac. It is about us not allowing.
Is it about me showering?
No, it's about you not allowing me to have any problems with you or be upset at you or mad at you or even hurt you at all.
So this is a legitimate problem. The problem is we can't have difficult conversations. Good.
You're not
Clarity.
allowed.
If you could have just said in a kinder way, a nicer way, like, listen, I feel fucked over by what you fucking just did.
You wouldn't freak out.
No, I would say fucking, well, what is it? Like what? And fucking too long at Isaac's. You said you wouldn't be that long or whatever. You shouldn't. I feel stranded. I felt fucking left. Whatever. What am I gonna fight with that? Why would I get mad at that?
Oh my God, the first thing you do, I don't have to text you and all. I mean, you just it would be shitty. It would be a fight. It would be terrible. It would not be.
It was a fight.
Yeah, it was.
It was a fight. And it shouldn't have been. And so the Isaac thing was the impetus because that was a lot of what you said today.
It was the impetus, but it's just a small example of a bigger thing. You know it's a big thing.
Okay, so it's a bigger thing that's coming from back in Australia.
No, it's like Australia was allowed to fight. You can't sit here and tell me I can't feel things and I can't voice them to you. If we say to each other, you can't get mad, and you can't be hurt by the other, then we're living fucking motherfucking fairy tale.
They also need a time where they can have these conversations that is set out. So at least once a week, you're prepared to have this serious conversation. There's just too sporadic. There's too many little fights. There's too much miscommunications.
Look, then of course, nobody is able to and shouldn't hold shit in. we can go to the other person and say, look, man, I feel fucked. I feel shit. I feel this. I feel that. And then we can assess how you feel. Well, fuck, I guess, oh shit, I see what you mean. I see what you mean, I get it. Or, fucking, I don't understand what you're saying, and you're wrong, and you're whatever.
But it's going to be the latter, and it's been the latter for months now. Whether that's your reaction is not ever.
All right, let us continue.
You always go straight to you're wrong, fuck you kind of thing. You say fuck you all the time right away, but I'm saying
always.
Like for months now, it's been I can't voice any complaint. I can't say I feel fucked over. I can't say I'm hurt. I can't say you fucked up. I can't be mad at you. I can't be hurt. Nothing. Because I'm the bad guy. Oh, well, I'm always fucking up, and like you're always on me, and I'm always fucking up, and like getting mad at me for having for being honest with you. We've had a million fights where I'm like, I was honest with you. I told you how I felt. Maybe if you were me, wouldn't you feel bad? Yeah. Okay, well, then, the fuck? We had these few months where we actually could even feel things and fight, and it was an argument. But you don't ever it's like I don't know what's changed, but it's like you can't ever just make it short and get over it. You can't. It's like you get on something and you will not get off of it. Hence why I'm always going to you in fights for hours trying to get you to calm down. Please, can we talk? Please, because I don't want to go to bed that way. And you told me you didn't want to go to bed that way either. Yet you want to fucking do this all night long and make it an all-night thing by disappearing for hours at a time. And then when I come to you, I'm the bad guy.
Okay, this is not a good rule that some couples have, and it's like, we are not going to go to bed angry. That is not a helpful idea. Okay? It takes time to process your emotions. You can't speed that process up just because it's bedtime. And also, you're forcing your partner to speed themselves up as well. Yeah, not good.
I'm fucking alone. I feel like you're not fucking helping. You're not fucking doing anything in fights. You're not overcoming yourself. You're not overcoming yourself. It's every one of these fights could have been so short. Why aren't you doing some of the work? Why aren't you coming to me and saying, look, olive branch? Why aren't you saying, I'm sorry, bigger picture, let's look at the bigger picture? Why aren't you doing any of this stuff? Have you noticed that you're not?
Do you remember thanking me for doing that, actually, recently? Thank you for being the bigger person. Thank you for coming and apologizing to me.
Wait,
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry.
Let's see. I don't know, honeymoon or Venice?
I don't remember which one it is, but
I'm really sorry, I don't remember exactly.
No. I wasn't questioning you. I'm sure
I'm
it
just saying
happens.
you.
I know. I just don't remember that one time, but I'm saying the majority of the time. And if you want to argue with that, then we'll never see eye to eye. I think you and I both know the truth.
See how Johnny's saying, I'm really sorry, I don't remember? Like, he's afraid. He is afraid of her basically getting angry. Maybe he's afraid of all this divorce stuff. It's his third marriage. But the really, really sorry just for forgetting a date or a location, the details of a little interaction. No, that's not a good sign for Johnny. It's not a good sign. He feels way too controlled and fearful.
The majority of times, you cannot calm yourself and it's me trying. Whether I'm hurt, whether I'm mad, whether you just told me you hate me in my eyes, I'm the one trying to get you calm down, trying to get an olive branch, trying to not make it an olive.
I'm actually going to speed this up to 1.5. And remember, if before it's too slow for you, you can make it faster. If now you think it's too fast, you can also make it slower. Go to the little gear icon on YouTube. So let's see 1.5, how that works.
Even if I'm hurt, I'm still trying to do it in a simple bigger picture. You lose the bigger picture every.
Nope, too fast. Let's try 1.25.
Time. And if you want to stay married to me, you need to figure out if you ever, if you think you can, if you're going to lose sight of the bigger picture and only be my husband when it's easy, you're only going to be there for the ups, never the downs. You're only going to be there for health, not sickness. Every time it gets hard, you lose the big picture and you can't think about anything else but breaking up, divorce, fighting, splitting, running away. If you can't be the one to come around sometimes and see the bigger picture and know that it's not worth fighting for days, if you can't do that too, we need to walk away. I don't want to walk away. I don't want to end this.
But do you not think you instigate the same thing?
I'm not talking about instigating, I'm talking about ending.
But ending, you
I'm
don't.
talking about ending.
Yeah, but you don't always do that. You don't always end up to be the one to say. What
What
you do is in the morning you say, I'm sorry.
No, I do it at night. I do it at night. Whether it's night or day, I've done both. I've come to you every single time. On the plane I came to you, on the Venice I came to you, in Toronto I came to you, in what do you call it, San Francisco I came back to you, I pull you into the bed or I hug you and I get us to calm down. And I'm glad I do because that's what makes it not be an all night thing. And nothing harms our marriage more than sleeping in different beds because we're mad at each other or going to bed mad at each other. We made a promise. You didn't keep that promise, but we did make a promise to not do that. It was your choice not to live up to that promise, not mine. I tried to get you to come to bed when you were mad. I tried to get you to calm down so many times in Toronto. In Toronto, in Venice, in San Francisco, I would come to the 7 different bathrooms if you were, and try throughout, whether I was mad or hurt or not, because I saw the bigger picture. I didn't think it was worth this. I'm always the one trying to end it. You never let go of things. You constantly do this.
I'm sorry you feel that way.
You're never the one coming to me and saying, let's not fight anymore. You're never the one saying, come just get into bed, let's not go to bed mad like that. On the plane, it was me. In Toronto, it was me. It's always me.
On the plane here from Rio, you were losing your marbles. I'm the one who came to you and said, let's calm down, please calm down. And you were blaming me. Because your flight was going to get in late and you wouldn't be able to
think about it.
Have time before your thing.
Just think about it.
Oh, no.
Majority of our fights.
No, absolutely. Okay, I'll admit that. Yeah, the majority of our fights, I hang on to it because it's fucking hard to let go. So the shit that you go through in a fight.
That's productive. So first of all, Johnny's giving an example when Amber lost her marbles in the plane. Amber's not validating that, acknowledging that. She just wants to look at the big picture and the pattern. But the problem is she wants Johnny to acknowledge all the individual little circumstances, right? So that's not fair of Amber. But when she's saying she's always the one to come and say sorry and keeping a promise of not wanting to sleep in separate beds, believe her 100%. And this is a pattern that I see sometimes when someone is... they are the instigator or they are causing a lot of drama. I'm not saying that's Amber, but let's say it might be. And then later for her to also come back and apologize, right? So there's like an avoidant attachment style like Johnny. And I know his attachment style is avoidant even when there's no violence. And then there's Amber who, so let's just say as an example, she is lots of action, lots of drama, and then comes back later and apologizes. So that could also be true.
Can be painful and it's hard to forget shit.
Yeah, no shit. But if you want to keep doing this in real life where you constantly are using that as ammunition, which you could shoot yourself in the fucking head, that's fine. Okay. But at least admit you're doing that. If you want to hold on to everything and never get over it, never let go, then don't scratch your head and go, I wonder why I'm so aggressive when you point out anything I did wrong. I wonder why I have so much resentment for you. I wonder why we fight so much. Stop scratching your head and wonder and just admit it's because you never let a fucking thing go. You can't get over anything and that you won't and cannot calm yourself down when you're mad.
So it's all my fault.
No. It's not. It's not.
Yet you can sit here and find blame in everything that I do. But you never say a thing about yourself.
Including myself.
You copped it.
Johnny's being immature. Amber has admitted a bunch of times to her mistakes.
Last night.
I am including myself.
They're focusing on the wrong thing here, right? When Johnny comes out and says, it's too hard to let this little things go. Not little things, let this shit go. He's basically like, that's a breakthrough. So that's something to work on. That's where I would be bolding that in my notes. Instead, they just go into some, oh, it's all my fault. Oh no, I'm not saying it's not your fault. Just some random productive area. They need a therapist to keep them on track.
It's not. It's so many mistakes. What I'm talking about, I'm not guilty of. I'm not. Do let things go. I move this relationship forward. I fight for us reaching the line. I do let things go. I see the bigger picture.
You said you said, I'm talking to you. You said you see the bigger picture and you do let things go. Yet, after Toronto, you're looking for apartments.
That was a hard one. And I did not say it 100% of the time.
And the plane was fucking hard one too.
No private conversations. I say, I am perfect. I did not claim it.
And we do.
I'm claiming the vast majority of time these patterns. And I own them. I'm right. You know it. You don't have to admit it. You know what I'm saying is true. I'm able to see whether I'm mad at her. I do mean for better or for worse. I have honored my word to not leave. You ditched me last night. And I understand. I understand how shitty that got. And I understand my part. But it is a reaction to this fucking situation we've created. It's about to crack. And I'm trying. I also don't want to lose me. I'm happy. And then that's the trust I'm talking about.
Like I said, the last thing in the world I want is for you to get happy or for me to let you down. And I do. And I do make you unhappy, and I do let you down.
I know you know if you can change it or do better. I know you're not perfect. I've seen you be pretty damn close. I've seen you do better than this. I've seen you control yourself more. I've seen you react right. I've seen you be less. I've seen you be way more control over yourself. So fucking edgy and get so mad so fast and you stay mad. I've seen this happen before and I've seen you better. I've seen you clearer. I've seen you better. I've seen you do better and you don't let me down. And I subsequently will do better and let you down less. I hope. But I'm not changing how I do things. You're changing how you do things. This is dramatic change. And it's been a few months now and I'm begging you. Now is the time. If you choose to stop it, fucking great. I will be to change. But I can't set myself up to be the only one to keep promises and then wind up in another situation in Toronto where you're booking a room or trying to get me on a flight or I'm not saying any things and I'm hearing all this shit and I'm not defending myself and I'm coming to you saying I love you. I'm trying to protect you from yourself and I get destroyed. I can't do it again. I won't ever survive through that again. And I don't want to.
I don't want to. I want you to. I don't want to be unhappy.
Instead of just like
You're saying to me that for a long time I was able to keep everything together, and when we fought, like be cool, yeah, exactly, and it was for a while, right?
Yeah, it was.
So
we could have arguments. It was like okay, normal. Now
right.
we can't have an argument. No,
Right, but there was one or two in Australia when I was calm-headed and all that shit. That I mean, what am I reacting to? If I'm trying to keep a cool head, I'm reacting to you fucking jumping.
No, before I jump, just a normal argument. There is
But there
sometimes
is,
you
but
just go, that was rude, or you snap.
That you tend to jump. You tend to jump.
Okay, all right. This is before the jump. This is like a normal. Fuck man, that really fucking sucks. Like I matter too, or whatever it is. And it's not.
You think you don't matter to me?
It's not. That's the point. It's the same thing.
I'm sorry.
There are times when you can make.
I don't understand how this is happening with Johnny. I mean, Johnny he's an incredible actor. Like, he should be great at reading body language and tonality and expressions. Oh, actually, that is the problem. Because maybe he's not the best with listening to words. That makes... If you study Johnny Depp, he learned from Marlon Brando. They spoke a lot about emotion, so less about, like, the intellect. I'm not saying he's not intelligent. Must be very intelligent. But he's in the depth of his own emotion, and he just can't hear the words properly. right? So again, this would have been fixed if there's a therapist at the beginning that wrote the agenda. And so what I would actually do is write a detailed success plan. So we put everything on the table. We would talk about decision making as a couple. We would I would prioritize the issues one at a time. Uh, and I would also look for kind of updates and things like that that have happened, and just keep that structure. So Johnny keeps this is immature. So Johnny's always saying that, okay, so you think I'm unreasonable, you think I'm untrustworthy, it's always my fault. Like it's imagine there's like a little kid, and then you're saying, hey, this isn't right. You're not behaving well. We told you not to take cookies from the cookie jar. You're still doing that. We have a curfew for you. You're not following the curfew. And before that, the parent said, I'm not perfect either. I know sometimes I tempt you by making cookies over there, and I maybe don't serve you lunch on time, or my TV is too loud at night so you can't sleep. And all the little kid hears is, oh, so I'm the problem. I'm the one who gets the cookies. I'm the one who can't sleep. So that's not a 100% fair comparison, because in this situation, Amber talked about her faults like way earlier, but still, like this defensiveness. I honestly believe what happened is that Amber like hurt his ego so many times and brought his self-esteem down, that is the reason he's being defensive, because he's kind of sick and tired of being talked down to. But it's way more complicated than that, because Amber also comes and says she's sorry, and she does own up. So this is why I wanted to dissect this conversation. It's interesting, and it's definitely different than a normal scenario I would encounter like this.
For months now, consistently.
No, I have no idea.
You have been. I did. I told you a million. I've actually told you probably about 5 times. I can't have a normal girlfriend. I can't have a normal girlfriend. I can't have any problems with you. Baby, I feel like I can't tell you anything's wrong. Baby, I feel like I can't be honest with you. Baby, you gotta relax a little. What the fuck? I gotta be able to tell you if something's wrong. How many times have you heard me say that? I have told you this. I've also mentioned how different it was in Australia and begged for whatever that. Is it clarity? Is it less Adderall? I don't know. Is it work? Is it, like something's affecting you, and I'm not judging you. I'm not. In fact, you have elucidated my opinion on medication. Do I not give you your meds every day? Do I not remind you to take them? Do I not? I know that you have to take medication. I am very aware of that.
Mm-hmm.
And you have actually changed my mind a bit as to how necessary they can be. I used to kind of think that they were not superfluous, but just like
An escape.
yeah, and now I don't think that, and that's because of you. You changed my opinion about that. But I do know you, and you don't know moderation very well. You're allergic to moderation. So I balance you out, I think, a little bit. I try to keep you safe. I try to keep on you a little bit to remind you to take the good ones. Do I not?
You do.
And do I ever give you a hard time?
You just look at no, but the meds, no. You spoil me. Look, you do all those wonderful things. You take my boots off. No, I'm not. I'm not saying you're tooting your own horn. I'm saying there are a lot of beautiful and wonderful things that you do for me that I've never even dreamt like that someone would be so fucking caring as to, hey baby, it's time for your meds, and it's so beautiful that your wife is doing that. It's beautiful that the act of just simply taking my fucking boots off when I get home from work, that is monumental stuff to me. The care throughout the day. Here, drink this vitamin water. I mean, there are beautiful, beautiful, beautiful things that I could go on and on about you, about us, about how you've made me feel, how you changed my life, but I do not want to be I don't want to be a fucking shithead in your eyes.
Thank you.
No, it's true, man. It's true. There are a lot of things. There are a lot of positives. There are a lot of positives. I'm not just saying it. I'm being honest.
Someone.
What?
I meant it, but this other people are not favorite person. It'd be so easy to walk away. For you too, I'm sure. You know, if you God, I mean, think about all the times it would have been very easy to walk based on your bad and stress and fight. That can't be my favorite person. The most beautiful, dynamic, shiny, smart, sexy thing. I can't. Something you fight for. But I'm trying. I just want to feel safe again. I want the stability. And we meant marriage for life, right? We meant like better and worse and all that stuff. You know, we didn't say before.
Of course, and we did.
Better or worse, we didn't. So, but, oh, wait, maybe.
Whitney said better or worse.
She didn't?
Yeah.
And then
But it is for better or for worse for me. It is.
I feel.
I didn't leave last night
You're
because
making me feel that it's not, like, not, you're not there for it.
I left last night, honestly, I swear to you, because I just couldn't take the idea of more physicality, more physical abuse on each other. Because had we continued, it would have gotten fucking bad. And baby,
On each other. Good acknowledgement.
I told you this once, I'm scared to death of it. We are a fucking crime scene right now if we don't get our shit together. And that, by getting our shit together, that might mean fucking hey, we do this and we make it. That might mean, goddamn, you know, you say, I've tried, I'm done, toodaloo. But we've got to get our shit together as individuals and as a couple. Because I love you, and I do not want to leave you. I do not want a divorce. I do not want you out of my life. I just want peace. And if I'm the culprit, majority of the time, I will fucking do everything I can. And I will recognize when I'm fucking starting to go sideways. I will recognize it. But please do the same. Please do the same. And it's okay to fight, like you said. It's okay.
You gotta. How do you remember that? And how do you know that? Because sometimes you're so clear as to what is priority to you and you care about, and then you seem to forget it when you get mad.
I can say the same thing about you, Angel.
Sure. But I'm asking you, like, what do you do to him? Like, how? If it was just up to self-control, maybe you would have.
That's why I...
Okay, so now Johnny's being very mature, and he's using the same tactic that he said before. I say tactic, but don't look at that as a dirty word. Strategy. We all have our strategies and tactics. It's part of being human. It's part of being a social animal. So Johnny saying, okay, if it's me, I'm going to work on myself, and I just ask you to do the same. And before, he was like, you just have to try, Amber. Just try, and I'll try as well. So when you're talking to your partner and you're telling that person to try or to get better, his line of, if it's me, I'm going to work on myself, that is a good line. So take that line.
I think the list is important.
Yeah.
Here, two lists.
I want a list of what.
Here are the things that you do that can hurt me or fuck with me or makes me mad or this or that. And, you know, and we take it without freaking out. Just take it and own it and study it. And if we have a different opinion, let's talk it out a little bit. And I'll make a fucking list, you make a fucking list of all the things that you think you do that you'd like to change. The things that I do that I'd like to change. In fact, that's the first list we should write.
Yeah, I was going to say this. The
Yep.
first list that you mentioned, it just Someone once said to me, as soon as you start listing like people you don't like with your relationship's over. Where they kind of said it as a side door. Well, that's how you know.
Write me a letter, put it in an envelope every morning if you want, or on a little notebook. No, please don't. Please love me today. Please don't hurt me today. Please don't get crazy today.
But then what happens if one of us gets hurt? Because that's life. It will come up. If we don't do things differently, and one of those things that we don't do, I can't keep throwing our relationship in the air every time we get mad because all bets are off every time.
Look, these don't have to be followed through with. These are just things that I suggest because you fuck some cock says it. Oh, as soon as you make a list, it's like, fuck that.
I don't know. I just need some. I'll do it.
I don't look. It doesn't have to be gross. It just you know, you've just. I mean, I don't need a list. You're just going through the majority. You know, and I went through. God, a lot of mine.
No, you need a list.
And you don't have to make the other fucking list. I'll make the other list.
No, I'm not saying I want to make a list or agree about that one. I just want to know what we're going to do differently and how to help check each other on.
Amber never said she's not going to write the list. So this is what I mean by Johnny's so emotional, he's not hearing properly. That might be Amber's fault, but that's the fact of the matter.
What the other needs, so that it doesn't get to this point. You can't keep living like this.
Oh, I can't keep living like this either.
I've
got less time on the fucking planet than you. I'm not going to spend the rest of my life fucking fighting with and being a drag to someone that I fucking adore. I'm not going to live my life like that and the rest of my fucking days. But you know, fuck like that. No, it's not. You know, fucking month, fucking 2 weeks, goddamn 30 years. Fucking no, but life is short. Precious. I don't want to fuck up yours. You know. I don't want you to fuck up mine. I'd like a bit more understanding from both of us.
That sounds very good, and I agree. But what about
in the moment?
What are we going to do different in the moment when you're mad and you go fuck it?
In the
moment, decide
moment.
All bets are off.
In the moment. Well, look what I did in Australia. Look what I accomplished. I put the fucker away. I told myself every fucking day, no, he's gone. No, he's a fucking put him away. I put him away. And by a list of the things that I feel that fuck you over or make you feel shitty or anything like that, when we're in the moment, I remember it. I remember what I put on my list. I remember it. And I try to bring it down notches, many notches. I'll try, if we're heightened, to say, please, I don't want you to feel this. I don't want to feel this.
I need to know what we need to do different. I need to know.
It's got to be done with your mind and your heart.
What do we?
It's not just mind in the heart. It's not inside out. It's also outside in via habits and protocols. So first of all, this list should be on each other's phones. They should both have a list of each other. So it's things to work on. So for example, Amber would have a list, Amber, Johnny, and vice versa. And it would be like, Johnny needs to work on this, Amber needs to work on this. And during that argument, it's important to be very, very vulnerable and authentic and literally say, I don't know how to deal with this second. I'm having the urge to run away, or I'm having the urge to scream at you. I'm having the urge to throw something. I want to be better. I don't know how. That's simple, because they're going way too much for perfection. Johnny's like, I remember it, and I try to go notches down, which is good, but then what ends up happening, the result's the same of him always leaving, and Amber potentially getting violent or getting extremely dramatic. So that hasn't been working, and he's tried that. It has worked a bit in Australia, but it doesn't work for a long period of time. So there needs to be that list there. There also needs to be a therapist, or they can't do this themselves, right? A therapist, life coach, psychologist, whatever it is, that makes a plan with them about how they are going to replace their behavior. So it's not just Johnny's gonna walk to the other room. Let's like maybe he is going to breathe into his emotional triggers. That's extremely hard though, right? Maybe there'll be a rule that he can't have any drugs or substances after. Maybe they should have. This is such a simple idea and I love it. And it's just like, how are you feeling out of 10 right now? Amber can say, I'm 10 out of 10 angry right now. Okay, what's the protocol? Well, if you're more than 8 out of 10, okay, then it's fine. Then we need to separate, right? Or, okay, you're 10 out of 10. What can we do to bring you to a 9? Because when you're in that rage or you're in that sadness, your brain is not working. You're not asking yourself questions. So if someone else is asking you, hey, what can we do to bring that a bit lower? Their mind actually activates to figure that out. Oh no, I'll be okay. So awareness alone is curative. Or, you know what, I gotta take a walk. I gotta listen to some Eminem. I gotta get this anger out. Whatever it is, they need to have protocols. And they need to be authentic about how they're feeling in that moment.
We do different if I have a problem. You
Tell
need
me.
to tell me how to tell you.
Tell
Different
me.
if I'm hurting you. You need to let me be able to be mad. Sometimes you're gonna make me mad. I'm a human. I cannot live where it's.
The problem is not Amber getting mad. She keeps kind of saying that. Johnny never said he wants you to be a robot or he wants you to hide your emotions. All he says is he doesn't want it heightened to a certain degree.
It's like,
Well, then it's the same thing goes for me. Then you're gonna have to allow me to get mad.
yes,
Yes.
exactly.
Okay, but I get mad and then you start fucking yelling.
Yes.
I don't have to start yelling. I think I start yelling once it gets fucking heightened. I've gotten a lot better about that. It's just only I only start yelling when it's fucking hour 11 and we're really.
Amber has gotten better at yelling because Johnny just keeps running away, and you can tell in this conversation, so far she's really trying to pucker herself down, and she's saying sorry, and then she's saying, "Yep, that's me." So you can definitely see that she's learning from that behavior. She's learning from a fear of abandonment, but you don't want to do this. You don't want to train your partner to be like, hey, if you behave this way, I'm not going to run away, so you have to do that. That's like a form of blackmail. But the point is, Amber is learning her lesson. But we'll see. We're about halfway through. We'll see if that extends to this conversation.
You haven't gotten better about that. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had 3 physical fights in the last month and a half. 2
I'm
months.
talking about the yelling.
Oh, okay.
No, but
He's saying no, she hasn't gotten better. And I'm not saying she's gotten better at violence. I'm saying she's gotten better at knowing that her heightened behavior is going to push away Johnny. But she doesn't have a coping mechanism how to actually deal with that or how to stop it. So I'm not saying the action has changed. It has changed in this conversation, but maybe not in the previous ones, which makes sense because she's saying Johnny has never taken the time to sit down like this in a very long time.
You witnessed it. You're the one that brought it up. Australia was fucking great. We just argued. Let's go back there. Let's go back there in our fucking heads and in our hearts. Let's go back there. No, on your
Is the
list.
monster gone? Or did you put him away? It's been so. When you get on that train, you get angry. You stay on it for so long, and you won't come down. You won't talk to the person
That's
that
not.
is you.
That's not always. That's not always.
It doesn't
big.
have to always be the monster. But what is it? Can you put that away? Can you remember the bigger picture? You don't want to spend your life. I've asked you this so many times in Christ. You want to spend your time like this. No, you don't. But I ask you because this is something you're choosing. I'm saying to you, olive branch. And you don't take my olive branches. You made me feel humiliated for offering them. You asked me to stay in Australia. I stayed. And then you walk out on me all the time. You've got to take some olive branches from me. You've got to offer them too. You've got to be bigger than what you feel at that moment. And so do I. So do I. But if I call you on it, will you hear it?
Yeah.
You call me out on it if I'm doing it.
Oh, yes, I will. Yes, I will. And I'll do it in a fucking as peaceful a fucking as calm a manner.
So it would be like, hey, please, let's look at the notes for a second. You know, you're doing this thing you're not supposed to do. and let me know if I'm doing something on my list I'm not supposed to do. That's how you call them out. Instead of, hey, we talked about this. You can't do this. You can't do this anymore. Just like refer to the list. The list is the rule of law.
As I possibly can. I don't want to instigate any fights. I do not want to fight anymore.
Say we're having an argument and you get mad.
An argument's an
How?
argument.
Yes, but say we're having an argument and you get mad. It escalates. How do you talk to the people that's in front of me right now? What do I need to say? What do I need to do? We don't want to spend our life mad like that. Doesn't mean you have to like what I'm saying or doing or vice versa. But
Can't you just say,
calm down?
baby, please don't get the mind to the monster. Please don't, let's not yell. Please don't, you know what I mean? And I'll do the same.
Yeah, that's good. Baby, please don't leave the room right now. Baby, please don't respond by yelling. That's great.
I've done the same. Well,
Promise.
yeah, and what? Yes. Why would I say it if I didn't?
Because sometimes you don't keep what you say, and I want this to be
So
different.
now my words are words.
No, that's not the case. It's just that sometimes when you get mad, it's like a disconnect from the person that you are right now. And I'm wondering just how to what's the communication, what's the phone number, you know? For that.
And you, how do I calm you down and you go into a flirt?
Every time Amber asks something of Johnny, Johnny goes, "What about you?" That's not productive. If you want her to answer, then you should answer first. Because what's happening is she's hurt because she keeps getting dismissed by physical presence and by conversation. And so what's going to make her feel better if you are reciprocating and answering questions, which she will then answer a minute later.
Maybe say, remind me, remember what we talked about. Calm, baby, please calm down.
Basically, the bigger picture.
Something that will remind me of this conversation. When I'm upset, I'm feeling like it's pointless.
Don't ever lie.
I don't ever lie. I know you and I see things differently sometimes, but I'm not lying. For someone who, I know that's your deepest fear and that's why it comes up in fights and stuff, but you got a trust issue in general in life.
Okay.
I never fucked you over. I'm not going to. And anybody who knows me, if they had to list 2 or 3 things about me, adjectives about me, one of those 3 would be super honest, straightforward, honest. Everyone else in my life, I know you have trust issues, but you can't let it cloud you knowing me. Please. It comes up a lot. I know you have an issue with it. It's not me. You can trust me. If anything,
Say that to me at the time.
What? Say what?
What you just said. Say that stuff to me at the time. I'm starting to fucking flip.
Okay, so that's great. She's not going to write this down. I hope she writes this down. Johnny's saying, say that to me, just the way that you're saying it. Like, baby, I know you have some trust issues. I just want to remind you that, I've never done anything to betray your trust. And then he's noticing in himself how that can be helpful.
Often I'm often motivated.
I feel like I do, but I should say it differently if I remember right. I'll pay attention to how I say
It
it.
depends, yeah. Let's both pay attention to how we talk to each other. To respect each other.
We're not going to do that all the time. We're going to be shitty or
Of
whatever.
course not.
But we make a promise to each other about the things in the divorce.
And we're in this no divorce.
We promise each other.
And
Because I want it so bad to feel like the marriage
I promise you.
worked so hard to make happen is like meaningful.
Don't talk about making the wedding happen. Talk about the 4 years we spent together, please.
Yes, but I have those 4 years no matter what. But I fought for that wedding. And we had that wedding. A beautiful wedding. For what? If we don't, I want to, it means something. That there's some.
Yeah. It did mean something, and it does mean something. And I didn't get married to you fucking. Just fucking, 17 more fights and it's fucking over with. We got married, I knew the fucking fights weren't going to stop, but I thought maybe it would curb them a little.
I want security back. I freak out. And cannot make normal decisions, calm decisions, ones from the heart, where I'm thinking of you more than me, when I feel like we're splitting all the time, when the marriage is on the run. I make the same mistake about throwing our marriage around. I won't do it again. I'm not going to do it again. Okay?
Please.
I'm not, I promise. But there's something so.
The word "but" is never good. Use the word "and." When you say "but," the other person shuts off.
Anxiety provoking and scary and malicious and really just turns everything over when you split all the time. Please, if you really don't want to fight and you're not just trying to hurt me, which sometimes it is that, if you really, really, if you really love me and you do care about this, please find a good way to do it one that's respectful. You can tell me that you are. You can. I need to know that we will be able to talk about it, because the problem I have is when you don't communicate. It comes into me, it goes up to me, and
And the other rule is you can say, "Okay, babe, I need some time alone, but I'm gonna be back within 2 hours. I'm gonna be back by this time." I think like there needs to be a reasonable time. So that reasonable time might be 1 hour. It might be that there's a certain activity they both want to do that's gonna make them calm down. So that might be later in the night. You can't just leave. I said that before. I just really wanted to emphasize that because there's so many things they're not writing it down, and you can hear that they're not, and they're not pausing enough. So it's either have the therapist type notes, or I'm known for my note writing. I love like clients will say, "How do you remember everything?" It's because I took good notes, and of course I care about you as well, right? But there's too many things, just too overwhelming, and without a third party. Just make sure you're writing notes at the same time, but only write bulletproof notes. Emotionally be present with your partner, look each other in the eye. But those bulletproof notes can go a long way.
cancer in me. It got worse every day when we were back from Toronto. It got worse every single day. Not better, worse. Until we spoke about it. Until Whitney's birthday, we talked about it. Then it was okay, but I don't want to resent you.
I don't want to resent you. I don't want to not trust.
You know how many times I've chased you out of the elevator in the hall? Stop doing that. I'm not nitpicking. I don't mean to be focusing on something, but if it's a major thing to me, and it is a major.
If things get physical, we have to separate.
No.
We have to be apart from one another, whether it's for fucking an hour or 10 hours or fucking a day. We must. There can be no physical violence.
I agree about the physical violence, but separating for a day or taking a night off from our marriage,
no.
It just means it opens up.
Listen, I'm just giving examples. It could be fucking 3 minutes. It could be fucking 2 weeks. I'm just saying.
We need to agree on certain boundaries, so we have boundaries again. We need to make agreements and hold each other accountable to them and ourselves accountable to them, which is why I'm even bringing this up.
Yes.
I'm not.
You know what I mean?
I'm not saying anything negative.
I know.
All I'm saying is we need to take whatever time we need. You need, I need, to kind of let things settle for a minute, so that we don't fucking kill each other, or fucking worse, fucking really kill each other, or fucking break up, or whatever.
Just don't. I think that.
Help me, I'll help you.
This is the thing that makes me feel unsafe. To be honest, this is what makes me not trust.
What's that?
It's that there's like.
Walking away, going to a corner.
No loophole. It's like, oh, okay, when you take the time you need, take the time you need. Okay, fine. Every time I get mad at you, I can go split. Except for, I don't have my own place to go split to.
No, I'm upset.
It makes me think I should. It makes me, I don't have a place I can go. I'd have to go to a hotel, and I don't have the funds to do that. I mean,
That's not what I'm talking about.
Look, I think we should control ourselves and not get physical. And if it gets physical, and we've dropped that wall, then we're gonna drop the other one. So it's gonna be like, you're gonna fucking split, or I'm gonna fucking split, and
this
isn't gonna come back.
You may be right, but you can't predict the future once again. here's what I'm saying. If the fight escalates to the point of where it's just insulting for both of us, or if it gets to that physical fucking shit, the violence, that's when we just say, look, let's go to our corners, man. You hang wherever you want, baby. I'm going in the office, and I'm just gonna fucking sit there and try and de-jellify my fucking brain. I'm not talking about me running out of the fucking house. I'm not talking about me, splitting because I'm fucking cunt and a coward and whatever. I'm talking about go to our corners. I'll go to my little office. You can have the house. You can just take the house and wander wherever you want. I won't fucking come bother you. And if at a point you're feeling like better after 10 minutes, come knock on the door.
I always do that.
And just let me finish. And if in 10 minutes I'm feeling like, all right, I got the solution for this, or I know how we can, please, I'll come knock on your fucking door, or I'll come find you.
You tried.
This is not good. What's going to happen is one person is going to might feel better after 10 minutes or an hour, whatever. Then now they're going to go approach the other person. The other person doesn't feel better. So it's just going to instigate again and get bigger. And that's always going to be the case. The only practical solution is for them both to meet at the same time. So for example, saying, we're going to come back in an hour. So something like that. Or we're going to come back in 2 hours. Whatever it is. We're going to come back at 10 p.m. Right? There needs to be a time where they both reunite together. One chasing down the other, that's a horrible idea. And Amber's talk about getting another place to go to like run to, that's unproductive. Because instead she's just stealing a toxic trait of Johnny to do that. Because Johnny can go be safe in his own house. Doesn't need to go out. And by the way, they live in a complex where there's a lot of close friends like close by. Right? So or he can stay in the complex. And they both have friends close by who live with them. Excuse me. And then Amber's saying, if I get my own place, I can run too. No, you don't want to copy that. You want to curb Johnny down instead of giving you another island to run to. So definitely I would have a time where they would both come back and they would reconvene together, and that's what a partnership is. And that way the other person's not going to feel rejected, like Amber's saying she's tried that and she's been rejected, right? And that causes resentment.
What?
You tried to not make it
I just told
an
you.
all-night thing. You try and not make it a lifestyle. I mean, you try and remind yourself that they can just be fights. You try and
Absolutely.
respect that it doesn't have to be an all-night.
Absolutely.
I don't want to go to bed mad. We were
I
doing
don't-
really good with each other. We
I
were doing
don't-
it for a long time.
I know. But we weren't insulting one another to the point of like, wow, like the way I insulted you in Toronto, or the way you insulted me on the plane, or whatever. Let's not get to that point. That's nothing.
Yeah, insults can never be tolerated. So I know Amber told Johnny that he's an old, fat man. I think she said he's boring. Johnny told Amber like the C word. It rhymes with the punting a football. Right? That's very inappropriate. There needs to be control. If they're both at a point where they can't even control insults, we gotta reel this whole thing back. We gotta go back to foundational skills.
That's bullshit. That's kindergarten shit. We don't fucking need to do that. What we could do is just try to be fucking calm and say, look, this is getting somewhere I don't like. Please, let's take an hour max. I'll go in and fucking write and try and figure it out, get it out, whatever. I'm just making suggestions to try and fucking save us,
Just gonna put that on our policies.
Uh.
Can cannot, nor can you. You don't deserve to be in a relationship that is walked away from all the time. I can't. I would never want you to do that. I never want you to be in that. You deserve better.
I'm gonna fast forward this. Hopefully you can hear. Remember the Pareto principle. You don't need to hear 100%. You can hear the 20% that is repeating and making 80% of the conversation.
So do I. You
Indeed.
cannot be constantly, anytime I'm upset or mad or hurt, anything, I fuck up. God, if I yell, if I fuck up, ever. Ditched. That's not marriage. You know, most people don't have 2-3 houses they can go to. It's always only in your house, and you always split.
Listen, you can't be saying that if that's what you feel, you feel that from you, because you didn't get that from me. And we fucking said, this is my house and my house only.
Kind of. But
No.
I know yesterday
No, it's our fucking house. It's our
always
fucking.
remind me that
I got Rocky and Josh living there. I got Whitney living there. Don't.
But you say it in fights, you use it in fights, and I'm sorry, but I feel like, don't forget it. I just
I mean, don't
want
think that you know.
security and the commitment for me that we have destroyed both of us. And I don't know if that matters to you, but personally, like, if you need that.
Absolutely matters.
But I do. I can't promise you that I'll be perfect. I can't promise you I won't get physical again. God, I fucking sometimes get so mad I lose it. I can fucking promise you I'm gonna do everything to change. Promise you. I'm not gonna throw around divorce. I will not say divorce unless I leave you. Unless it's it. And then I hope you leave me.
When you're mad, you're not going to be able to fix your psychology. You need to fix your body. You got to work outside in. So you can go rant in the air. You can go for a run. You could sing these like hateful songs. You're not going to be able to be like, okay, I'm going to be calm now. Right? You can breathe into your anger, of course. You have to allow yourself to feel anger though, and feel that in a safe way.
I'm not going to. Me too. I will leave you. It's fair. I can't do it, you know? And I think, honestly, if we hold each other accountable to that, it's fair.
That's what I said earlier. Look, if we get to that point where it's like, this is
So now we don't cross.
too fucking much, let's, we fucking, man, shake hands and walk away,
But you don't do it to me. That's my point.
Trust me, I'm not going to do it unless I mean it.
Promise.
If I say it, I will be leaving. If you say it, I'll get the fuck out, whatever.
Promise.
Yeah,
That way does not come out.
unless I say the word or unless you say the word. Well, or you just take the ring off, because that's the same thing. That'll be the same thing.
That's what I'm saying. You know, I don't think our marriage should be something you say. In fact, if you want to fucking divorce, you're going to tell me we're not fight. Let's be honest. You know, that's a decision, a lifelong decision that even you and me as hotheads know you can't make forever decision thing. And when you're mad like that, certain feels like, but you and I both, even though we're hotheads, we do know the difference. However, I think it's something we should ever say to each other and fight ever. And you promise me. And I promise you. And we need that. We need to hold each other accountable. I only feel safe. I have nothing to cling on to. You didn't come home. I feel like I have nothing to cling on to. There's a semblance of marriage or commitment or stability. I mean, if I can just get up and walk away and spend the night somewhere else.
Obviously can.
Yeah, but believe it's done if I do that. That's it's not marriage.
You talked about it. You know why I left.
I do know why you left.
I'm saying now that I won't do the same thing. I mean, I will not do that. I will not fucking leave until some rational decision is made. If it's the end, it's the end. If it's fucking, we can keep going, we'll keep going. But yeah, promise.
Okay, so this is good. Both of them saying, we don't have the intention to leave the marriage. We want to work this out.
But you can trust me. Sorry?
I don't want to be in my marriage. I want to commit to you forever. Good God. In other words, I want it to be this transient. It's going to fight we're fighting for. I want to be close. It's okay to leave. It's acceptable to do this. It's acceptable to say this about like splitting or breaking up or leaving. That's what we should fall asleep together every night. Ideally, never mad. I I'd love to say, would you promise that, but I don't know if it's possible. I'd love to strive for it.
Yeah, you weren't ready for that last night, for sure.
No, I fucked up last night. I'm really sorry.
So let's understand that we're both guilty of the same shit at times.
No one's saying it more than me, though. I
So
can't
let's
say more.
so let's
It's just chronically overweight. And I need that to be something you realize and that you know. It's affecting not just me, it's affecting our marriage. It's affecting how I trust, how I resent you, how I like you without the fight being happening.
No, I know, but
I'm not trying to rub your nose in. I feel sometimes like you omit something, you acknowledge it, it'll be beautiful, and then you'll go back on it, kind of in your like in the vocabulary after, and then I feel like, wait a second, is he taking it back? You know what I mean?
That's why things need to be written down. And for example, write it down in a PDF. There's no way to take it back afterwards that way. Like, it's very, very simple. Like, copy, make that list, make it a Microsoft Word or whatever, save as a PDF, put the PDF in your favorites on your phone.
I do know what you mean, but like I said before, there's not. I don't have them. I haven't cornered the market on that. You know, when you start the fucking yelling, there's, you know, it fucking gets crazy. You know, it gets fucking crazy. You know, and that makes me not feel, for lack of a better word, safe within the relationship. You know, understanding of, oh well, it's just nothing. Because if it keeps going, if it's always sort of there, then, you know, I worry. Yeah, I fucking worry about the marriage. I worry, how much longer can I deal with this? How much longer can she deal with this? Fuck, man. So I've had the same trust issues. I've had the same disappointments. I've had the same, you know, maybe not to the degree you have. I'm assuming so, but yeah, man, when you start fucking honking, you know what I mean? It's pretty.
Call it out. Call me out and help me.
I will try.
Me, please. I might not even realize I'm doing it. You've got to help me.
I will try.
It can't be an excuse to leave.
I will try to help.
So for example, babe, you're 10 out of 10 right now. Babe, I'm perceiving you as 10 out of 10 right now. That's what she needs. And actually, that's much better to say, I'm perceiving you as 10 out of 10 right now. Otherwise, she'll just argue.
If I try to help you and I can help you, fuck would I leave? If I try to help you and I can't help you, say, baby, I'm taking an hour, I'm in my fucking office.
Yes.
Great.
If you want to talk, you want to come get me, otherwise I'll come check on you in an hour.
That would be really helpful.
Alright?
That would be amazing.
Honestly, I'll leave you an hour.
I'll check. Really.
I just want you to have your time to be able to calm down, or my time to be able to calm down.
It really helps if you give it time. It's not just,
Say
even
no.
if you just say, it will, you know, I promise it will resume this. I just need to know that we talk about it. Otherwise, I'm going to cancel.
Yeah.
It's only something that just festers and gets worse and worse. So you have to realize that, you know, in that kind of situation, a few minutes is fine, but then after a certain point, it becomes way worse. It's going to become way harder to reason, to rationalize. It's a bit. Kipper can tell you, he says he's the same way. That's how you, and you look really different.
Yeah. I do understand that. I do understand all that. But I also want you to understand that, you know, the regret.
This conversation is going in circles. It's the same thing over and over and over and over. This is not productive, and I'm worried that this is going to end in a big fight right now. Everything is like, hey, I'm going to try to stop this, but you too need to acknowledge. Okay, and they say this a million times, and they both have already acknowledged it. This is a time where it would be like, okay, what's our action plan? We have a perfect action plan. 1 hour, you're going to go to your office, and that's that when I'm upset. Okay? You're also going to let me know they didn't do this, but for example, you're going to let me know how you're perceiving me 10 out of 10 for both of them. No one's going to leave the house. So that's it. Don't try to solve everything from A to Z, because what you're getting, you're being too intellectual. You need to actually go into these situations. You need to feel the emotional support and the security, and that's going to bring you a lot closer than planning too much. And I would focus this time on the good things and the appreciation and how you two met, and Johnny was listing things he loves about Amber, to list that again, and for Amber to use other adjectives rather than "you're so shiny." Right? She just used the same ones again. That would be productive at this point.
Great moments with high hopes that it was just all cool. And then, you know, whatever happens, this happens, that happens. We have a spat or a fight or a fucking blowout. I just want you to know that the way you're feeling about being unsure of us, of the marriage, of this, whether you can trust me to be this, or whether you can, you know, whether I can do the same. I feel very much the same.
I'm just too happy I had luxury that you take for granted. No offense, you do.
What I take for granted?
That you have the added luxury of knowing that I'm there and that.
I'm gonna eat right now, so deal with that. I'll try not to make a lot of noise.
And I mean it forever, and that because I show up. I come, I'm knocking. I'm the one who asks to calm down. I'm the one that comes to get you on the plane. I'm the one that comes and knocks at the bathroom door. I'm the one that comes into the house that you run away to. I'm the one that comes to you and says, "This isn't worth it. Let's wait for this thing," or whatever. You have an added luxury that you just are taking for granted in such a big way. You don't know how much that means. If I ran from you the way I used to before the marriage, we'd not be together. And I used to run away when you, whatever, when I felt like it was justified. How many times we almost break up? How terrible was that? How terrible was it for you? We would not be together if I did that. And you take it for granted that I show up and that I fight for us and that I'm the one to come over. I'm the one that comes out and says, I am the one. I have a hothead just like you, right? What a luxury you have. If you take that for granted, you're so, what a luxury. I'd do anything to have that feeling. At least in the back of my mind, I know that you showed up, that you fought for me, that you cared enough to.
Here's what you're missing in that little, you know, paragraph. What you're missing is, you're the one who comes and gets me. You're the one who comes and says you're sorry. You're the one who comes and tries to calm me down. You're the one. But why am I riled up?
We're both riled up. It's not like every time I've done something to you in a vacuum, babe.
Johnny's not acknowledging her. It's like, this is the part you're missing from that equation. You gotta acknowledge first before you bring your perspective.
Yes, you don't get. I don't doubt you're riled up, but I'm riled up too. And I said this to you on the couch. I said this to you before. We both have. It's subjective. You have your reasons. I have my reasons. For every action, there is something that caused it, and I have the same thing. I'm mad at the same.
But what caused it? What caused it could be so irrational and so far-fetched and so minute.
That's what I say every time. That you want to have a big fight. Every time I go, this could be something small. Why wasn't this just an argument? Baby, why wasn't this just an argument? Yes, so you're right. Sometimes it could be very small. Sometimes it's not. Either way, it doesn't negate what I'm saying to you. What a gift. Like, I would do anything to trade places with you. You talk about insecurity.
I don't know how you can say I'm taking it
trust.
for granted. That's a fucking insult.
You talk about trust and like, you feel the same way. You don't feel this. You couldn't. Because the difference is, you at least have the knowledge in the back of your head that you can fall back on. That I showed up. That I fought for you. That I checked on you. That I came to get you. That I said I love you. That I saved the marriage. If it were up to you and I treated you the way you treated me, we would not be together. Let's face it. It's because I fucking fight for this. It's because I come over. And last time I didn't, which is what I should always do. And I'm learning my fucking lesson. It's just, when you walk, fucking let you walk. And that time, I can tell you how done it was. It was like this time in Toronto. I was looking for apartments. I was preparing to tell my folks, my parents. I was done. And you called me and you're like, well, I'm about to go out of town or whatever. And it ended up like that, whatever. I told you I wasn't ready to see you. Because it had gotten so much worse. That I was basically, I was like, I just need to change my life. And my life is different. I am no longer with this person. And I'm now single. I need to get my shit together, find an apartment, do all this stuff. It got so much worse. And honestly, if that happens one more time, we will break up. I know it. I know we won't survive it. That was so severe. The damage was so severe. When you spent a week here and you said, I'm going to go away for a day. You wrote me a note. I left on the kitchen counter. And he said, I just need to clear my head for a night. Maybe two. I didn't hear from you for 6. No, this is here. You came here. I stayed downtown. You were gone for 6, 7 days. And then I didn't even let you spend the night in the house. Remember, you came over. We talked. I wasn't even ready. No, you know how long it took me to take down those walls that I built up? It took forever to build those. It took me so long to trust you, even a little bit again. I resented you so much. The damage was very deep. And I know that if I let that happen again, in my heart, I know we wouldn't survive it. So, you walk out, and I have one option. That's why I come to you. If I let it go, like I did last time, which is what I should do, because if you're willing to walk out, you should be walking out. But I let it go, and it was a fucking week. And it took... and I'll never get some of that back. I'll never have that trust quite the same way. You left me a note saying I'm going to be gone for a night. We didn't speak for a week. I didn't even hear from you. You didn't check on me, nothing.
So you thought we were broke up?
Oh yeah, I was preparing to have that conversation with you and be done.
Oh, you just said you were single.
No, I said I was preparing myself to think that way. Take care of my own life, get my own, a partner. That's that.
So I hope it doesn't get you that.
No, of course, I'm just saying. But I didn't fight for it when I let it go. It's devastating. Devastating my heart, my soul, and my trust all became a new fight. At least you have in the back of your mind that I come.
It's fine for her to say we won't survive that again. It's not a threat. She should have actually cushioned that more, saying this is not a threat. I just want to let you know how much I was hurt and where my mindset was. And she actually did say that she's single, and then Johnny picked up on that, and that's a red flag. You can't say you're single without even having a conversation. She didn't even send a text message. There was nothing. So that's going to make Johnny feel even less secure.
I show up. I fight. I come. I don't have that.
I don't take that for granted, by the way. I don't always know that you come. I don't always know that you'll be knocking. I don't always know that you want to talk. I go, because I think, but we're screwed. Can't live like this.
Stop you from doing that.
Well, like I said, or like you said, walk out the door, walk out the door. That is the same as rings off. It's the same thing as mentioning the rules. There's no talking unless we just want to try to be civil with one another. As fucking people who are married. I hate to talk I hate even saying that kind of shit, but yeah, if I walk out again, I'm walking out. And I'll know that, and you'll know that. If you do that, same deal.
This is a mistake. This is more of an advanced mistake that couples make. So they're saying, we have a big problem of Johnny leaving the house. And so what we're going to do instead is say he's going to go to his office for an hour. And in the past, Johnny has lied. He said, I'm going to need some time to myself, a day or two. Excuse me. Then he went for a week. Johnny has had this habit for a very, very long time. Even Amber used to have this habit in previous relationships. So to now say, let's both agree, let's be on the same page that if you leave the house, that means you're leaving the relationship. That's something that we both know and understand. And if one of us leaves the house, we're going to know that right away we're getting a divorce and it's over. A lot of that is good, getting on the same page, understanding the symbolism, addressing one of the main problems. But actually, Johnny leaving is a symptom of other problems that they have. But it's way, way too much of an ask. If someone is in that pattern of always leaving, also using, no judgment, but also using different drugs and stuff, which is going to change the mindset. Also being very emotional, sad or mad, is going to change the mindset. It's very easy for one of them to walk out. The patterns are there. It's too difficult to say that's never going to happen, and if we do that, it's over. There's way too much pressure there. What's probably going to happen in situations like this is one person will get very emotional, sad, mad. It could be either one of them, drug use, etc. And then they leave, and then they regret it, and they say, "Okay, I was just overwhelmed, and I left, or I didn't even realize I left, or I forgot about that conversation we had." It's now putting so much tension that each of them has their they're like on their toes to see if the other person's gonna leave, and that's not what their relationship needs. It doesn't need more threats. It needs more reassurance. I'm a much bigger fan of saying you can go out, you have to be back in 2 hours or something like that. And it can't just be one time. Hey, if you don't do that once, it's over. These people are talking so much. They're really invested. They want to make this work. And then they're putting this high pressure situation there all of a sudden. Don't recommend that.
I love remember I was in the best again. Feel gain. Trust, respect, whatever you feel you've lost to me. As we've done. And I hope you can make the changes that fuck with me. And if we want to do it, we'll do it. Ultimately, we don't want to do it. We know the result. Because we're definitely at the end of any of that shit. All the anger at each other. We're definitely at the end of that kind of shit. I don't know.
You let it go. You let go of some spice.
Yeah, I love high school.
Just want to move on to everything. Just worry about the same.
But it,
My mom said, either of us are forgiving.
well, I don't think it's gonna. I don't think we can forgive each other this quickly. I think
I'm not saying.
with time it'll lessen. But everything that I said, you know, was not. You're not gonna be able to undo it. And the same with me. You'll be able to undo it. They are horribly thought-provoking, but just gotta write it off, you know, and get past it. If I didn't want to be with you, I would be with you. If you didn't want to be with me, you would be with me. And that's really what it boils down to. So if we want to be together, let's do our best to fix what's broken within the machine. Within our machine, the machine that is us.
Don't chase it. Don't ask for more reassurance.
Still married.
Okay.
I hated it. I hated having to leave. I hated fucking feeling here. Couldn't fall asleep. Fucking happy. I had fun with it. You know, woke up like 3 hours fucking later. Feeling like, wow. Fucking wow.
Hope this is important enough.
It is important. Why do you say that?
I can't do it. I woke up the first thing and called you. Told you like, I just, this is foolish, you know. And I understand part of it, but I also see like, you know I love you. You know, but my thoughts and my issues. At least you know I love you. You know I love you more. Me. You should know that. You know that.
But what?
You know I love you more than me. But I love you.
More than yourself?
Yeah. If you don't debase yourself and embarrass yourself like that, it's not for you. It's because you're worried about protecting yourself.
I don't think you based yourself on any of that. That's very great. That's very.
Your feet are swollen.
I don't know what.
Ankles are swollen. You took your morning nap.
Getting sores.
What?
I'm sweating.
Not swollen?
Fucking
No, this is just good. It's
like a muscle over there. do anything bad to you. I don't harm you. I don't want to hurt you. I don't. So, as I said, I'll do every fucking thing I can. It's gotta be reciprocal.
Yes.
And what you did by calling me last night, you fell asleep on the phone. You realized that.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I had to empty myself. Again.
It's alright. I said sleep at night.
Did you tell her to sleep?
I thought you were sleeping once before. I think you might have fallen asleep once before. And I woke up and you were talking. And then I was saying something, talking, and suddenly there was just no more.
I really don't want to sleep without you. Again, I can't. There's a better way.
Let's find it. Let's slow
You
down.
don't. I'm sorry I did.
It's okay. Just
But you know, sometimes that fucking thing happens. You do it too sometimes. Where you just.
I know.
But it can't be like the end of. Our marriage is bigger than that, obviously.
We don't need to ever get to that point.
I agree. But
I hope we don't. I hope we don't.
Okay, almost done here, folks. So first of all, Amber, instead of saying I'm still married to you, she should still say I'm married and committed to you. I still love you. I'm married to you. It seems like something that can change. It's not strong enough. It's almost like the ring and the courts is keeping us accountable, rather than our commitment for each other. But then she does something great, and she talks about his feet. She checks the morning meds, and then he does something great where he acknowledges, I wasn't dismissing you or abandoning you yesterday. I fell asleep on the phone. I assume she heard him snoring or something, especially if they're taking Ambiens and things like that. But if she didn't, that would have been a trigger for her. And the point is, Johnny understands that and he vocalized it. So that's good.
I love you actually before. I want to be a husband. I want to be a good husband. If I haven't been, I'll do everything I can to find out how to be a good husband.
you're a great husband. You really are. It's just hard if anything comes up and someone bumps your shoulder in a crowd cycle. You know, wearing white again. Or black. So it makes a difference. It's a big deal. There's a lot. I love you like that. I know we can be so good.
Nice.
But I'm here trying to move forward, forgive each other.
Listen,
We have to
I know we
forgive
had
each
our
other.
fights today to try to settle whatever the fuck, all this scrambled, crazy shit. That one thing reminds you of another. You find yourself going back into some other fight. It's all scrambled. It's all fucking jumbled. It's like white noise all moving around. The thing. I'm glad that we got to a point where we were shitty to each other. I'm glad we got to a point where we didn't fucking know how this was gonna end. But I'm telling you, I come in here today. It is fucking courageous. It's fucking happening. For you to come here and talk to me and try and work things out. And to tell me these problems, things that I do to fuck with, I want to change it. And you change it. Us to change it together.
Thank you for sitting to and actually having a conversation. I did not expect that. But I'm really proud of you for not running away, walking away. I'm proud of you for that. It means that we can actually hash out these things. Something's have to be said. And maybe left.
Huh?
And maybe left.
Left behind.
We'll never forget a lot of things, but we can forgive. We really do need to. We need to we really need to. My mom's right. There's absolutely. It's just adding weight that we're just carrying around those stones. And mom is right. I know she is.
She's right. She's right on the fucking money. She's on.
Okay, I was waiting for that to Amber to acknowledge Johnny about sitting down and doing this. Uh, it's interesting because Johnny was only talking about her and saying it's courageous for you, Amber, if I understand that correctly. But then Amber really focused it on Johnny, which is good because that's what he needs reinforced. And, excuse me, it's very important that, excuse me, that this conversation ends well. So Johnny is willing to return in the future. So that's great for Amber for really acknowledging that. And when she said, "I'm proud of you," that's something, it could be playing with fire, but I can tell from the context of their relationship, Johnny wants that. Johnny loves that. Like, he likes this, he likes acknowledgement and needs acknowledgement as well. And that makes sense because, see, there's a lot of similarities here. They both feel abandoned. They both want security. They both feel like they're not acknowledged and their voices aren't being heard.
We can make it if we want to. We can get through the shit if we want to. If you're unsure, right now, yeah.
No, I'm not. I love you. I love you. I just needed I need the security. I need to have something to hold on to. Or else I'm why?
Tell me shit. Just tell me. Before it becomes something that goes inside, so everybody wants to just destroy it. Just tell me. And I'll tell you the same. And then, once we can fucking get the shit out without it being some huge drama, or even if it's a huge drama, once we can get the shit out, recognize it, and like you said, fucking, it's gone. Chuck it. Doesn't work. That method does not work. Damn, it's gone. Next. I fucking die if I start. And it kills me that possibility that you think that I take so much for granted, that I'm trustworthy, or that husband, or
I think so. Right.
no, I'm just saying it's
I said what I needed to say. No, I won't.
I'm not asking you to elaborate on anything I'm saying. All I'm saying is I would fucking die if I knew that was how you felt. And now I know, but I know. I know, do my best to get it together, so I don't fuck with you, and you don't fuck with me, and we're a couple again, and we're friends.
You can't use language in the negative. So instead of, hey, we're both going to work on ourselves so we don't screw this thing up, we don't screw with each other. No, much better, much better. For example, to say, use the affirmative. I want to work through this out so we can both support each other better. So we can both get back to where we were when we got married. Because that way you're setting a North Star, and also you're making the conversation more positive. The conversation can't be, let's stay away from these bad things. It should be, let's get back to the good things.
But
So, I promise, it's cool if we just do the things a little different in the fight. Like, don't walk away from me. Do it in a different way. And I promise I won't resort to the same shit. I promise. Okay?
maybe we're not going to focus happens and we get all fucking edgy with each other. Instead of squaring off like a couple of fighters, maybe let's try to sit down. Seriously, sit down.
Mm-hmm.
Even if we say, hey, listen, we're fighting like bastards, let's sit down and have a glass of wine.
Mm-hmm.
And talk through this. I know you got it in you. I know you got it. I know that I have it in you. It's just a question of realizing and admitting what we do. And I realize and I admit. What you got?
I was just pausing it. I realized I was about to run out of battery. Still rolling.
Okay. No, I'm waiting for jerking those.
He's doing Halloween thing.
He's doing Halloween thing?
He's been to like a Halloween thing that you trying to stop at before.
He sent me a
Or after.
he sent me a thing this morning at 10:45. Said, "Hey Dad, sorry I missed you. I was at a place where murderers chase you with weapons and stuff." 10:45. He said, "You want to meet up today?" At 10:57, I hit him and said, "Yes sir, I'm at 80. I'm ready anytime you say."
Most important. Let's listen.
And he says, "Yeah, he just woke up, so I gotta wait till like a half or is that 1 or 2? That's probably half." I said, "Whatever you want, Bob. I'll be here whenever you are." I said, "Thanks, Dad. See you soon. Can't wait."
I like to pretty much the whole thing, but it's very. Like I said, you
I
would love to see you went over and.
Sure that wasn't last night?
No, that's what you were. There's that.
Fucker.
That's it today at 1.
I thought it would finish in that second.
Right?
Yeah.
This is
Well,
relevant.
that's all I can do is
okay?
play television.
So we'll listen.
Want to
You go back down? I forget shit you have to do.
What?
But you had shit you have to do. No?
Yes, and that earlier too.
Well, because last night you said,
I'm going off and I told him like
oh,
Lizzie and see her at some point. I'm going to Rob and friends over pool.
oh, that's right. Yeah, she said.
And that kind of thing. I'm like, I have to clean out the closet.
Well, let me,
I'm not going to do anything. I just want to have some dinner once a morning.
I want to do that right now. Let's go. Say it. Say the words.
I love you.
I love you. I love you. Forgive me. But let me earn your forgiveness. I forgive you. I forgive you.
I'm really sorry. Yeah.
Thank you. Goes down to those last 2 words. The 3 words. Let me get my shit together, okay?
Okay, good. So the reason that I want to watch the end is because it's so important how something like this ends and how you walk away from an argument. So one thing that they did, which is a mistake, is they just kind of, I see this all the time, couples will just kind of veer into something that's practical, that's a part of their everyday living. Oh, so by the way, so there's all this like serious talk and the roller coaster of emotions, and then it's like, hey, so you're looking forward to Bobby's birthday party? So are we still gonna, are we, it's a full moon tonight? I don't know, I can't even think of examples right now, but it's like the laundry, it's the dishes, it's like, let's go out to dinner. What do you feel like eating for dinner? I hear that all the time, right? It's like, the reason couples do this is because it's the easiest thing to grab for. And it's the easier to go to comfort, which is normality, which is routine. Excuse me. Instead, what they should do is they should encapsulate and put a bubble and end the fight talk or the argument talk, the emotional roller coaster. That's better right there, right? So, because what they do is they go into the dinner stuff and then they come back. So they both said "I love you" to each other. They both said "I'm sorry" to each other. Right, that's very, very good. Johnny did make a mistake where he's just telling her, say the words, say the words. He should have started by modeling and him saying, I love you, and I'm sorry, and I forgive you. Because that's what she needs. She's said it 100 times, she can't be the one always offering the olive branch. And this is an example of Johnny saying, hey, I'm telling you to offer it. Right? So that's very, very important. Say it first. Say it and then get reciprocation. Don't give instructions to your partner like that. And then when that's done, right, they should be able to do some kind of touch. So honestly, you can give each other a hug. After a conversation like this, you can give each other a hug. It doesn't have to be the best hug. You both need to go in and you both need to try your best with consent. If someone says they don't want to be hugged, okay, that's different, but at least have that as a conversation topic. And they didn't even summarize. Okay, so in summary, these are the main things we need to work on. These are the main tools, the main coping mechanisms we have. We have some questions. I'm not sure what to do instead when I'm in these situations. Now, I want to say, I hope they're going to do that later, but they're going to forget so many things later. They can come later to make the list, but to have the verbal conversation, it needs to happen now, and it's fun, and it looks like, well, it tells the truth, which is, okay, we did learn a lot in this conversation. It was productive. And it's going to help them remember later when it counts, which is going to be in a similar situation when they're full of emotion. And then they end up going to dinner together. I would suggest something a bit more. It's not that dinner's the problem, it's how it came up. When she's like, yeah, at some point I'm going to get food. And he's like, okay, let's go right now. There was no coupling aspect to that. So, for example, he could have said, okay, baby, what do you feel like eating today? I feel like eating this. Okay. Would you like to get some wine today? You know, what's going to help us to, this goes for both of them, what's going to help us to calm down and, you know, get a bit closer together. And then they have a rule that whatever their next thing that they're doing, they're not allowed to bring these topics up. So actually the number one thing that I would recommend is that they sit down and they watch like a TV show or whatever it is for like half an hour. You know, there's all these like short episodes of these comedy shows, and just be together and, you know, sit on the same couch. They don't have to touch, but something like that. And then we can talk about dinner. Because what's big thing that's missing from this is an emotional anchor for them feeling that, okay, things are better now. The emotions are lighter now. Instead, what they're doing is they're attaching big arguments like this with running off somewhere, like dinner. They both need to learn to stop doing that. That's a major theme here. And so them both sitting together on a sofa, like you can there's like 30-minute shows. You can relax for 30 minutes. You don't got to be that hungry. All right. So there you have it. I purposely chose an argument like this that's a bit more realistic, not one that's obviously Johnny's fault or Amber's fault. This is the type of arguments that I've seen many clients have. I've had. I'm sure you have. Can you see versions of yourself in this conversation? Are you someone, or is your partner someone? Always look to yourself first. So this is what it is. We ask ourselves, am I someone who deflects, who gets overly defensive? Am I someone who is too sensitive? Am I someone who says things that are inappropriate without a censor? Am I someone who is violent? Am I someone who doesn't know what I'm going to do when we're angry? Am I someone who abandons my partner? Am I someone who doesn't acknowledge my partner? Am I someone who models for my partner instead of telling them what to do? And there's so much more. I hope this was beneficial to you. You can reach out to me, relationshipandsexsolutions.com. You can message me on YouTube, and I'm here for you. And I really want to emphasize that if they did have a therapist, this conversation could have gone way better. And it's not just about like saving time in the conversation. It's like they would walk away both feeling a lot more positive with actual tactics. Yeah. Hey, it was great hanging out with you. And I'll tell you a secret. I've been a very perfectionist about creating a YouTube channel. I bought like $6,000 worth of equipment like 3 months ago, and that OCD, that perfectionism in me, has been paralyzing me. And so today I said this is fascinating. It's an opportunity for us to learn, to actually dissect something fully, and for me to get over my camera shyness. So this is a long video on purpose. Healthy human, beautiful relationship. I wish you serenity. I wish you partnership. I wish you self-love. I wish you practicality, practical solutions to give you a life of satisfaction, and that is very possible. Okay, nice meeting you. Bye.